Let's talk a little bit about the team Bonnie Eagle beat last week, because we'll have them this Saturday against Portland, against Windham. Portland Bulldogs started off the opening series. They actually turned away Bonnie Eagle on a fourth down early in the game. Just weren't able to keep up. Bonnie Eagle hitting on all cylinders right now. There's still a lot of fight from Jim Hartman's squad. Big game for them this Saturday against Windham if they're going to have any hopes of getting into the playoffs this year and rebounding on this season. But, I mean, they've played tough. They've played some really tough second halves against teams so far this year.
Yeah, they're just looking to put that 48 minutes together, and there are definitely positive signs. You know, this week will really tell us a lot because no one expected them to beat Bonnie Eagle last week. I think everyone knew that Bonnie Eagle was going to win that game easily. Now they've got a stretch here where they play Windham at home, and then they go to Cheverus the next two Saturdays. So they really need to win at least one of those games. In a perfect world for Portland, they would win both, but they just need to gain some confidence right now. You know, this is a team that in spots is making big plays. You know, Teron Moss had a big kickoff return for a touchdown last week. They've had a few big plays here and there in their earlier games. They need to play consistently. I think they need to play from ahead because they haven't all season. They've constantly been playing from behind, it seems like. So if they can get off to a good start against Windham Saturday, that would be the first step in the right direction. And they've really had Wyndham's number here the last couple seasons. Let's not forget. You know, Portland's been to the state game the last 2 years, and the team they beat in the regional final both times was Windham. So I know, even though this is a very different Portland team, they're going to be confident going into that game. And for Windham, it's a big spot, too, because I think if you lose to Portland, when Portland's struggling, that's kind of a step back. So it's a chance for Windham to solidify its status as, you know, one of the top couple teams in A North. And it's a chance for Portland, frankly, to get right back in the race, because even at 1-3, if they had that victory on their resume, I think, you know, the rest of the schedule looks very, very promising for them. Cheverus would be a tough game. Lewiston would be a tough game, and South Portland actually potentially looks like a tough game now. But, you know, I think if Portland could win Saturday, they'd be legitimately looking at a 500 season. And, you know, with almost everyone making the playoffs in that region, they're still in good shape. And this is I think this is a team, they're hoping to peak in late October. And if they do, I still think they have enough talent on that roster where they could make some noise.
Michael, this is Dave Wing. I saw Portland against Edward Little, and it seems to me you said they need to get ahead, so they're not playing from behind.
Right.
I almost had a feeling that, at least early in the season here, whether Coach Hartman had faith in Nope as quarterback, because they didn't throw the ball at all against DL in the first half, and then once they were behind and they started to mix it in a little bit and throw the ball, lo and behold, they had 2 touchdowns and right back in the ball game. So is there something to that about whether he has confidence in his quarterback?
Well, let me say this, that you're never going to confuse Portland for a Big 12 offense. They don't spread the field and throw the ball. Even last year with Isaiah Batchelder, who was an experienced quarterback, they'd kind of pick and choose and throw occasionally. They're never going to throw that much. I think with Sammy Nope, he's very promising. He's only a sophomore. He's never really played quarterback on a regular basis, so you know, they're easing him into that spot. There's a lot to learn, let's face it. I do think that he's promising. I think he's going to get the job done. And, you know, and let's face it, you know, Griffin Foley's one of the best receivers in the state. They've got to find a way to get the ball in his hands, even if it's on an end around, even if they line him up at running back, you know, a quick pass to the side, something to get the ball in his hands, let him make things happen. I think if they can do that a few more times a game, that would open up the offense quite a bit. You know, Teron Moss is a threat to take the ball to the house every time he has the ball. But I do think, you know, David Elowich is a good running back, or Zach Elowich, I'm sorry, is a good running back. You know, they do have the weapons, and I do think that Nope will come along and play. You know, when Isaiah Batchelder first took over, he hardly threw as well. So it's just a question of learning the offense, getting the coaches comfortable enough where they'll let you throw 6 or 8 times a game, because that's about all Portland would ever do anyway.
Like, how do you feel overall Portland's defense is?
You know, it's certainly not the unit of the last few years, and you know, you lose elite talents like Justin Bukowski and Espo and Nick Archambault and Dylan Bolduc, who, you know, played both ways in his FITSE finalist season last year. You just don't replace kids like that, you know, that easily. And not only their talent, but their leadership. And I think, you know, Portland knew that coming into this year, that it was going to be tough to replace some of those kids. And that's proven to be the case. You know, again, they do have some good athletes. They have some good athletes on the line. They have some good athletes elsewhere, and certainly in the secondary. You know, Vinny Pasquale is as good a defensive back as you'll find. He's already got multiple interceptions this year. And their linebacking core is good, too. So Disregard what happened last week. Bonnie Eagle's going to put up a ton of points on everybody, probably. Portland was certainly outmanned in that game. But I think the other two games, you look at it, they really didn't get pushed up and down the field. They gave up a few touchdowns here and there. And I think, if the defense plays well on Saturday, they're going to give Windham a real tussle.
They have. I think that's been one of their real strong points in the past few years is their defense.
I'm sorry, I was cutting out there. What did you say?
I think their defense has been a real strong point for them the past few years. Talking about Portland.
Question. Yeah, and you always want to build from the defense out, and if you have a strong defense, you're always going to be able to compete. The thing is, last year they were constantly playing from ahead, which made it easier on the defense, as you know. You can kind of put your ears back and tee off on the other quarterback, and there's a little margin for error when you've got a 2 or 3 touchdown lead in the first quarter. They haven't, there is no margin for error at all right now. So, we'll see if that changes. I wouldn't write them off yet, and we'll see how things go on Saturday.
About this already, the money has to match up and whatever. And the nice thing about the NFL is if somebody wants to trade 2 great picks for your backup quarterback or your backup linebacker or whatever, they can do it.
Sell out.
And
sell out, baby.
Yeah.
You
can't do that in the NBA.
Dave,
I think it's crazy.
Going back to football, what does the word field position mean to you?
Oh, it's vital. I think it. I don't think people think about it enough, but we already saw it. I think Hartley's punting for EL in that game on Saturday made a tremendous difference because Chevrolet had to drive the length of the field.
They had to drive more than once the length of the field.
If you can make the other team have to have long drives at any level, it doesn't make a difference, high school or the pros, they tend to make a mistake, there's a penalty, there's something happens, and they have to punt. If you can keep them backed up, you're going to be in pretty good shape.
Where you take over, where you start your drive is so vital because, and just as you see a 8, 10, 12 play drive, almost unheard of in high school football because there's so many things that can go wrong. Fumble, bad snap, somebody runs the wrong hole, some guy pulls the wrong way. I mean, there's
penalty,
all kinds of stuff within the series. How important is field position?
Yeah, it's
as far as Hashmack is concerned.
It's a major.
Well,
and you know what? We're getting ready to wrap up here. We're right up against the top of the hour. The biggest thing that I noticed, because I'll notice that in games too, is the teams that start off deep in their own territory and have to play that field position games are always working it uphill. Coach Haley, thank you very much. We'll see you back here on next Thursday.
My pleasure.
Bring the hailstorm with you. Coach Wing, we'll see you back here tomorrow. You have fun interviewing coaches tonight.
I will.
All right, and we'll have all that tomorrow. If you missed any of it today, we had Levitt head football coach Mike Hathaway, we had Oak Hill head football coach Stacey Doucette, and we had Michael Hoffer from The Forecaster. Catch it all on demand after the show on the official B-List Daily thread at MBR.org. You can find that by going to SportsTimeMaine.com. It's the Spectrum Healthcare Partners Studios. We are live from there. That'll wrap it up across the MBR Radio Network and on the radio on SportsTime 780. We'll catch you tomorrow at noon back here on the B-List. Right now, we're joined on the phone by the man at the helm of the Windham Eagles. Of course, they'll be in action tomorrow at Portland on 92.7 Maine's Big Z and SportsTime 780. The video stream will be at MBR.org. Just follow MBR Sport on YouTube. Windham head football coach Matt Perkins taking a quick minute with us today. Coach, your special teams and defense once again came to the rescue last week. I thought that was a pretty pivotal win for you guys last week against Lewiston.
Yeah, it was huge. I mean, they've really improved, and we're in a tough spot. We got a lot of injuries right now, and as always seems the case with us. So that's when you really count on those other phases of the game.
I would totally agree with you there. How is the health of the team so far? Guys starting to get a little better. I know starting opening night, it seemed like you guys were losing guys. Then it's just kind of continued since then. I don't know if you guys and the Patriots have got something going on or what, but it seems like every now and then, every week there's somebody key going down for you guys, and you can only keep so much depth rolling. So it's got to be a challenge for y'all.
Yeah, it is. I mean, we didn't feel like our depth was super thick to begin with, and so we've really had to, not only try to build depth from younger guys, but also within, and having linebackers learn the defensive back spot and having DNs play linebacker, and really trying to get guys to be interchangeable, just because you never know when it's going to happen. And we're not, totally out of the woods. We got probably another few weeks here before we can say that we're on the rise as far as health goes. So,
Coach Dave Wing here. Tell me about your Friday night team, and you don't play many Saturday games unless you're playing at Chevrolet usually. So this is suddenly a Saturday game. How does that change either practice plan or the attitude of the kids?
Yes. Hey, Coach. Nice to talk to you. It's definitely different. I really like it because to me, Saturday games is that playoff feeling, and it gives you that extra day. And as a coach, I just love having that extra day. I don't feel as rushed. I feel like there's things and doubles that you haven't reiterated for a while, whether it's a pursuit drill or a ball drill, that you can use in that extra day and feel a little more prepared if that stuff arises. But I think for the kids, it's a little weird feeling. They're so used to the energy of the lights and everything else. And it doesn't take much to throw a 16, 17-year-old boy off his game. So sometimes that's a bit of a challenge on a Saturday morning.
We've always said it's the only profession where you put your reputation and your legacy, if you will, in the hands of 15 to 19-year-olds and let it go.
Yeah, it seems like a really bad decision when you think about it.
True.
Talk a little bit about your team so far and some of the guys that have been able to fill in, and maybe a couple players that have had to fill in roles that they're not really used to, but are doing pretty well with it and have been flexible.
Of, and I feel that they do. And we've got to do a really good job in the little things, from pursuit to assignment football and keeping them in the box and those things. So they are very scary on offense and special teams. I mean, last week, the Moss kid returned a touchdown against Bonnie Eagle. He made them look like they were standing still.
No, you're 100% right. And then he took an option later on, and it was a very similar thing. So, no, big play opportunities there. And I don't expect Portland to be winless at the end of the year, so certainly a dangerous one for you guys this week. Windham Eagles head football coach Matt Perkins joins us in advance of tomorrow's game against Portland. Of course, you can catch that 12:30 pregame video stream at MBR.org. You can subscribe to MBR Sport on YouTube, get notified when we go live, and of course you can hear it on the radio as well on Maine's Big Z 92.7 and on Sports Time 780. Coach, thank you very much for taking time out of busy Friday for us, and we'll see you tomorrow.
All right, guys. Good talking to you.
Thank you, Coach. Thank you. That is Windham head football coach Matt Perkins. From there, we'll slide over to Coach Haley and Coach Sterling, and that will wrap up the B list for today. Just a reminder, the games we got going on tonight, Oxford Hills at Edward Little on Maine's Big Z 92.7 and the Ox 96.9 AM 1450. You can hear it online at MBR.org. Follow MBR Radio on Twitter, and you'll get all sorts of action and video highlights from the game, including Johnny Mailer's Spectrum Spotlight. Bangor at Lewiston will be on 105.5 AM, 1240 tonight, 6:30 pregame, mainsbigz.com. Of course, you can find them all at mbr.org. We link them all right there. Mountain Valley at Mattanocook, 164-mile trip for the Falcons, 6:30 pregame on 100.7. Ryan and Matt on the call for that. And then tomorrow afternoon, Windham at Portland, as we just mentioned, on Maine's Big Z 92.7 Sports Time 780. Video stream at mbr.org. Of course, get all the news and updates for the games tonight at mbr.org in the morning. Coach, thanks for another successful week.
Hey, it was fun.
Appreciate
I've enjoyed
that.
it.
Falmouth Orthopedic Center. Central Maine Orthopedics. Always Centers for Orthopedics.
Our goal here at Maine Athletic Fundraising is to raise your program or group the most amount of money possible in the shortest amount of time, hassle-free.
Over the last 3 years, we've been able to raise over $10,000 every year, which has really allowed us to get the extra stuff the kids really need to run a successful program.
One of our biggest goals at Maine Athletic Fundraising is to really develop a relationship on the ground with the coaches, the community, and the boosters that are involved, and help bring them together and understand how important it is to fundraise.
Now we're here. Hey, welcome into Fitzpatrick Stadium, everybody. Maine's Big Z 92.7 and Sports Time 780. Maddie and Steve with you here. It's the MBR Game of the Week. On the video side of things, you can subscribe to MBR Sport on YouTube, and you can get notified when we go live. There, now they can hear us. All right. Steve, welcome in.
Hi, Matty. How are you?
Doing all right.
Got the 2-1 Windham Eagles traveling to Fitzpatrick Stadium to take on the 0-3 Portland High School Bulldogs. Portland, one road loss to Edward Little, the other two home losses, one to Bonnie Eagle, the other was to Oxford Hills here to open the season. So Portland looking to, not go 0-3 here at home. And you got to think about, Matty, this is week 4 at the end of today. Halfway point of the season, my friend. Halfway point here already.
It really is. It's really amazing, too, when you think about it. This Portland team still very dangerous. We talked to Michael Hoffer about it. You talked to us. We talked about that in the pregame with him. Still a dangerous squad because almost all the teams in Northern A are going to make it. And it doesn't look like Bangor is going to win a game this year. I feel safe in possibly saying that. And if that happens, there's a very good possibility that Portland is still going to be able to make the playoffs. So if they can get this ship righted, starting with a big win today over a longtime rival in Windham, they could still make noise at the end here. The 0-3 to me is almost a little misleading with the Bulldogs.
Well, I don't think it says as much about the Bulldogs as it does about Oxford Hills, Bonnie Eagle, and Edward Little. 3 teams we've had a chance to see all 3 teams play. 3 very good football teams. Oxford Hills and Edward Little, 2 teams that have been not as strong in the past, and certainly this year, played in a heck of a game last night, a game that came down to turnovers, a single-point game decided by 6 turnovers by the Oxford Hills Vikings and allowing Edward Little to march down the field in the fourth quarter. And really an impressive victory for Edward Little, staying in that game defensively and coming down with the win. So the common opponent between these two guys, one of them anyway, Bonnie Eagle. Of course, last week here, Portland at the wrong end of a 68-14 loss to Bonnie Eagle. And you think, wow, that's quite a gap. Well, not saying a whole lot for Windham. They lost 55-7 to the same Bonnie Eagle club. So, again, saying more about how good and stout the offense for Bonnie Eagle is and less about where these two programs are. Seems like an even matchup, Maddie. I'm expecting a close game.
I am as well. It's a beautiful day for sports. South Portland and Portland girls soccer earlier played to a scoreless tie in double overtime. Steve, you were right last night. You predicted almost the total score of the Edward Little Oxford Hills game we were at.
That's right.
I was the one that said, hey, are we going to get a goal scored? And you're like, oh, yeah. And I said, okay. And we didn't. So
no goal scored.
So far, you and I are 1-1 on the weekend with our sideline observations.
We will see what happens here.
Yes, we will definitely see what happens here. It's Windham. It's Portland. It's the game of the week on mbr.org. Video stream. Just subscribe to MBR Sport. Be notified right when we go live, like we are right now. And on the radio side of things, you're listening on Maine's Big Z 92.7 and Sports Time 780. Your home for the B-List Daily, 10 a.m. to noon. We'll take a break. We'll be right back.
Falmouth Orthopedic Center. Central Maine Orthopedics. OA Centers for Orthopedics. All play on the same team. Maine's top orthopedic practices have joined forces for more efficient and affordable orthopedic care. Introducing Spectrum Orthopedics.
Our goal here at Maine Athletic Fundraising is to raise your program or group the most amount of money possible in the shortest amount of time, hassle-free.
Over the last 3 years, we've been able to raise over $10,000 every year, which has really allowed us to get the extra stuff the kids really need to run a successful program.
One of our biggest goals at Maine Athletic Fundraising is to really develop a relationship on the ground with the coaches, the community, and the boosters that are involved, and help bring them together and understand how important it is to fundraise.
And now for the Bulldogs, under Coach Jim Hartman, the Portland High School Bulldogs. Will everybody please stand now for our national anthem.
MBR Game of the Week from the Spectrum Healthcare Partners broadcast studios. On the radio side of things, it's Maine's Big Z 92.7 and Sports Time 780. Video side, subscribe to MBR Sport on YouTube. Again, we're from the Spectrum Healthcare Partners broadcast booth. I want to thank our friends at Maine Athletic Fundraising who make those coaches interviews possible. Maine Athletic Fundraiser Friday. You can catch it every Friday on MBR. National anthem has been sung. Coins are about to be flipped. Hands currently being shaken on the field. Matt Bevel, Steve Flynn with you here at Fitzpatrick Stadium. Back-to-back weeks from Fitzy, and back-to-back beautiful weather weeks from Fitzy, as the 2-1 Windham Eagles take on the 0-3 Portland Bulldogs. These two teams met in the Northern A final last year. Portland came out on top. They will look to continue that trend.
Be interesting to see what the team who wins the coin toss chooses to do. One of the things that came up last night at the Walton Field for the Edward Little Oxford Hills game, only one scoreboard located at a single end of the field. Edward Little won the toss. They elected the direction to go in and were more concerned about making sure that they had that clock in the fourth quarter. And so, again, you have Windham has won and deferred. Portland will elect to receive, and Windham is going to travel towards the scoreboard in the first and the fourth quarter. So it turns out direction a little bit more important than possession here. And that played huge last night for Edward Little. Grant Hartley able to come down the field, see the clock. I mean, the scoreboard was in front of him, and he was actively using it. I mean, they melted a lot of that clock off to manage the back end of that game. So here we go. Time to shuffle up and deal and see who comes out on top, Eagles and the Bulldogs.
Just a reminder, you can listen to all the games online. If you can't watch them or be there live, just go to mbr.org every Friday night and Saturday afternoon. If there's a game stream, we'll have it linked there at mbr.org. Also a reminder, MBR All-Star Weekend happening November 18th and 19th. To nominate players or accept an invitation, also visit mbr.org. On the radio side of things, you listen to Sports Time 780 and Maine's Big Z, brought to you by CMCC and Hammond Lumber Company.
Windham's got to be careful early. We saw Teron Moss return a kickoff for a touchdown last week. Very dangerous in the open field. We'll see whether or not they try to kick away from him. You know, Coach Perkins is certainly well aware of number 4 back there for the blue and white.
I would totally agree with that. Michael Hoffer spoke glowingly of him, and of course we saw him last week. And even with all those athletes Bonnie Eagle has, you know, Teron Moss, you can make an argument that he was the one even above them the other night, but he didn't have quite as much help on the other side. So
I'll tell you, it's interesting. One of the aspects that you lose with some of these high school kids is how they mature from year to year. And you think of him as a point guard on the basketball floor, not one of the bigger physical athletes that's necessarily out there, but he's got some good size out there and handles it very well between the lines on the football field.
Valier will kick it off for Windham. Windham in the road whites with the pewter helmets. Kind of got that Tampa Bay Buccaneers pewter helmet thing going on with a maroon eagle. And the kick is away. It'll bounce and inside the 20 down to the 19-yard line. That'll be fielded there by Zach Elowich, who's been getting a lot of run and a lot of touches on the offensive side of things for Portland here over the last couple of weeks. Just underway, no score here at Fitzpatrick Stadium for the game of the week.
Coach Jim Hartman, you know, very well versed in defensive strategy, defensive movement. He's got a lot to work with here athletically for the Bulldogs. Looks like Moss is going to come out as a signal caller.
That could open things up a little bit. You saw a little bit of this last night with Edward Little using the Wildcat. And looks like they're going to hand it off on a jet sweep there. And nice run by Vincent Pasquale. Of course, Vincent Pasquale made a lot of hay on special teams last year and then had some key offensive plays as well. He gets a run all the way out to the 30-yard line, gain of 9 on first down for Portland. And this is a big game for Portland. 0-3 to start the year. They know they got to start beating some of their rivals if they're going to get back into this thing. Looks like they've already started with some new wrinkles on the offensive side of the ball, Steve.
Back on their heels a little bit was Windham, just not sure what Moss was going to do when he got it.
Get the ball into the hands of your best player and see what happens. Moss is going to take it himself. He's going to bust upfield, up past the 34, up to the 35-yard line, gain of 5, and the Bulldogs have a first down just like that.
Tough to defend that time. And direct snap to Moss. He had a couple of blockers in front of him, and the offensive line for Portland doing a nice job getting off the ball. 2 plays and a first down. Some pretty good momentum right now building for the blue and white.
Totally different Portland Bulldogs team than what has been seen here in the last couple of weeks. Moss in the shotgun, 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. He's going to keep it himself, run it off right tackle, past the 35, up past the 39, up past the 40, down the sidelines. He's going to step out of bounds in between the 45 and 50-yard line. Official will mark him out of bounds. I'm waiting to see where they're going to mark him. They mark him out of bounds at the 44-yard line, just shy of a first down. Another big gain on the ground for the Bulldogs to get things started on a beautiful autumn afternoon in Maine.
Not a lot of foot speed, not a lot of ground contact from Moss. He covers a lot of ground with each stride, and he's got great sense for the angles of the football field. Doesn't take too long of a path.
Yeah. Uses the vision and actually takes the shortest route to get there instead of dancing a long ways.
Timeout, Portland.
And Portland's going to take a timeout. We'll keep it right here, of course. We'll try to keep you updated on scores from around the area. Of course, a lot of the games happening last night. Of course, Steve and I got to be on the sidelines for Edward Little and Oxford Hills last night. Edward Little goes to undefeated on the season. 4-0.
Yeah.
Eddie's not worried about their Hill Points or Crabtree standings now, that's for sure. They are undefeated in Northern A.
Undefeated. They've got Massabesic, Deering coming up next. I mean, 6-0 is not entirely out of the question for the Eddies, and it's been a long, long time. Maybe in the days of one Coach Haley.
Yes.
Before we've seen success like that over at Walton Field.
course, Coach Haley and Coach Wing will talk with Dave Sterling this week. Very happy Dave Sterling. Another happy coach this week will be Lewiston head football coach Bruce Nicholas. Lewiston Blue Devils continue their football renaissance with a 42-7 win over the... Was it 42-7 or 49-7?
40-7, and I'll tell you the
impressive
stat coming out of that game. Lewiston held Bangor to just 3 first downs the entire game.
Blue Devils and Red Eddies, of course, finished the season in the regular season. We'll talk more about that on the way. Right now, Portland demanding our attention, as they should be getting it. Elowich into Windham territory. Dives forward, loses the ball, but he was already down. They'll mark him down at the 48-yard line of Windham, and it will be another Bulldog first down. Solid opening drive here for the Bulldogs. 10:48 to play in the first quarter. No score, opening possession for Portland.
Wow, and they're keeping Windham off balance. They started with Pasquale. They made the adjustment. Moss with a couple of carries made the adjustment to Moss. Then that time going to Elowich.
Moss is going to run it off the left side. Now he's going to wiggle back outside the 45 to the 46-yard line. Gain of 2. Even his 2-yard gains look like they could pop at any point, Steve.
Yeah, I mean, he hops, and that's one of the things. He keeps his lateral options open in terms of exit strategies if he gets closed in on. And right now, getting some good blocking up in front of him, number 50, Benjamin Levine, the junior, doing a nice job sealing off his man and allowing Moss to spring inside.
Second and 8 for the Bulldogs. Just under 10 minutes remaining in the first quarter. Moss barking out the signals. And that'll be whistles.
Motion for sure.
Somebody motioned illegally. That is frowned upon at that establishment.
Penalty against Portland. 5 yards back to the Portland 49.
Those are the kind of penalties that you can't have. Right now they're churning away some yards and really developing a nice strategy, but those kind of things shoot yourself in the foot.
See it all the time in high school football where teams just kind of lose that traction, lose that footing, having a solid drive, and just something like that puts them back 5 yards. You wouldn't think it would be much, but sometimes it can upend a drive. We'll see if it changes anything for Portland here. Moss takes a shotgun back to pass, fakes the pass. Now he's going to get run down from behind, and that was a solid and stout defensive play there by Justin Lebrecht, the senior for Windham, tracking him down back at the 45-yard line. Now it's going to be 3rd and long, and for Portland, 5-yard play all of a sudden is upending the drive.
And how costly is that 5-yard penalty? I mean, just a confluence of events that time, some good rhythm that they were developing with the Russ, but a costly penalty, and then that time taking the play for a loss. Looked like Moss trying to use the throw as a fake to clear some room. Nobody buying it from the Eagles. They just kept him contained.
3rd and 16 with apologies to Tim Tebow and Steve Austin. 8:50 remaining in the first quarter. Portland, Windham are scoreless. Moss at quarterback is going to hand it off to Elowich, and that's not going to gain much, if anything. He'll gain a yard. That'll make it 4th and 15 at the Portland 46, and it looks like the Bulldogs, after a promising early drive, have stalled out or are going to have to punt it back to the always dangerous Windham Eagles special teams.
Yeah, it's going to be very, very, very careful here. Windham is a team that pays attention to those little details with the special teams, and Elowich, a very good punter, was able to boot a bunch of them, 40, 50 yards anyway in pregame.
That kick is almost blocked. Almost wish it would have been. Out past the 38 to the 41-yard line. That's going to be a gain of a net gain there. 46, 4, 9, 13 yards.
Not enough.
Not
enough.
It's not what you want.
Looked like Trevor Valera was the one who got behind the line that time, leaped and got a hand on it maybe. Elowich looked back. He was surprised. And so the Eagles will roll out their offensive set here, led by Tanner Bernier. Salem, a very, very gritty runner. Not a big guy, but finds the open spot, and he can get free.
And amazingly, I don't see Salem out there to start. I see Max Marshall and Trevor Valliere in the backfield with Bernier. And a little miscommunication. Bernier's going to take it himself. Off right tackle. He's going to get over midfield to the 45, to the 40, and out of bounds at the 39-yard line. Huge stiff arm to fight off Vincent Pasquale, and a big gain for Tanner Bernier, the Windham Eagles. And Bernier saying, hey, I think I can run out of the quarterback position too, Teron Moss.
Hey, he'll take it. Number 20 goes 20. I mean, that was an impressive run. A little bit of miscommunication there in the backfield. Looked like he made contact with Marshall, but able to clear the right end and pick up a huge gain there for the Eagles into Portland territory.
1st and 10 for the Windham Eagles at the Portland 39-yard line. And just as soon as you get done patting them on the back, they smack you on the hand 5 yards back the other way for illegal motion, or actually, no, excuse me, neutral zone infraction. I guess things looking up for the Eagles. That's going to move them forward 5 yards. It'll be 1st and 5, not 1st and 15. I just assumed. That was a quick whistle there on the.
I didn't think you'd typically get encroachment for that, but second penalty there for Portland.
First one killed their offensive drive. We'll see what this does here defensively. 7:56 remaining in the first quarter. Windham and Portland are scoreless. Bernier gets him offside again, and it'll be first down.
Make it 3.
Undisciplined to start here a little bit. And this can happen a lot of times when a team is in such a desperate position. They're chomping at the bit to get everything done that they want to get done. And they're just waiting for the first hint that the ball is going to be snapped.
You'd like to make the other team beat you, make them execute the plays. You don't want to give them free chunks of yards down the field, and that's what Portland's doing here.
Now 1st and 10 from the Portland 29-yard line. Bernier with a hard count again, doesn't get anybody to draw off. Marshall's going to draw off over the left side, but isn't going to gain much, if any. Gain of 1 down to the 28. It'll be 2nd and 9.
Marshall only a freshman, so interesting call that time by Perkins. It looks like they're going to keep using the freshman here.
I believe Salem was injured last week, if I remember correctly. I don't see him in uniform on the sidelines, so something to keep in mind as we move forward here. Coach Perkins said they were working with a kind of a small deck of players this week. Bernier's pass is complete up past the 25 to the 23-yard line. That's Nathan Watson on that catch. Well, it'll be 3rd and short.
Interestingly enough, it's either Nathan Watson or it is Tanner Grover, because on both of the rosters that we have, Matthew, we have two number 25s.
Oh, good. So that'll be, we'll just go ahead and make that Tanner Grover. Pardon me. Yes.
Hey, we'll guess.
Good call. We'll go with that. We'll go with that. No score. 3rd and 4. Handoff is going to be shy of the first down by about 2 yards as Valier ran it off the right side, off the right hash mark. They're going to mark him just outside the 20, just past, actually right at the 21-yard line. They got to get to the 19 for a first down, and they'll go for it here on 4th and 2. 6:20 remaining in the first quarter. Opening drive for Windham. So a man in motion, that'll be Grant Jacobson. He sets now in the tight end position. Handoff is going to go up past the 19 for a first down, and that will be Grover for the first down.
BA guy is going with Grover, so we'll stick with that.
Whatever Peter Gribben said,
that's right.
I will go with it.
He's usually very well versed.
Anybody that brings candy for everybody to the press box must be a legitimate person.
That's a winner in my book.
Yes. Of course, the press box actually named after him, so
that helps.
That is a good deal. First down for Windham. They'll move the chains, and this opening drive for the Eagles continues. They're on the near side hash mark now, 19-yard line. Valier goes from Bernier's left to his right. Snap, Bernier rolls to his right. Now on the far side hash mark, throws it to the outside. That's going to be complete inside the 10. Flags down in the area of holding. Pass was caught by Hunter Coffin inside the 10. However, let's see what the flags are. Legal man downfield by Windham. And holding by Windham. Apparently it was the daily double. 5:50 remaining in the first quarter. That 1st and 10 is now going to be a first. And we'll see where the holding was from, and we'll see how far they move it back. Looks like they can move it right back from the line of scrimmage, so it's going to be 1st and 19. So that makes up for the 10 yards that Portland gave earlier on the back-to-back offsides penalties.
Oi. And that's just what it'll be. So a holding penalty it will be.
So it'll be first and a short 20. If you could even say such a thing.
If there's
ball is just shy of the 18-yard line. 28-yard line, excuse me. They got to get to the 9-yard line for a first down. Bernier hands it off up the middle. Valier to the 27, maybe the 26 and a half. That'll make it second and long. 2nd and 7. We'll say 2nd and 18.
Outside of the big 20-yard run by Bernier, the Bulldogs have really been able to contain the rush for the Eagles inside the tackles.
3 receivers to the far side, to the near side left. Valier now on the right side. They're going to send a man in motion, and that'll be Grover. Now they send Jacobson flanked out to the far right. A lot of motion, a lot of movement. Bernier back to pass, looking, throw, is going to run it himself, runs it up the middle, inside the 20. He gets met by a gaggle of Portland tacklers inside the 20 and down to the 17-yard line. That will be a gain of 9, and it will make it a 3rd and 8. And just what you don't want to see if you're a Portland Bulldog or a Portland Bulldog fan, yet another Portland Bulldog injured on the ground right now outside the 16-yard line. Can't quite tell who that is, but he does not look comfortable.
No, didn't see what happened if it was in a scrum of players as he went down, but getting the attention that he needs anyway. Maybe let's hope it's just the wind maybe knocked out of him, and he can recover. Get a number here when we can.
50, is that 50? Yes, that is number 50.
Levine.
And Ben Levine, he has popped up. Good news, good sign. He's getting off under his own power. That is encouraging. However, his left arm kind of hanging there, so you wonder what might be going on there. Capable Portland training staff will take a look at that. 4:52 remaining in the first quarter. No score between Windham and Portland. It's the MBR game of the week. Video stream on YouTube from the Spectrum Healthcare Partners broadcast booth. Radio 92.7, Sports Time 780. It's the CMCC Hammond Lumber game of the week. Listen online at mbr.org if you can't watch the video. Valier constantly switching sides.
Yeah, that's
left to right, right to left. Sent a man in motion. Said Bernier's going to take it himself off the right side, outside the 10, just inside the 11-yard line. Gain of 7, and that's going to make it another 4th and 2. Windham's already converted 1, and that's going to make it. Looks like they're going to call for a measurement. Is that what we're doing here?
Yeah, they're going to take. No,
they gave up on the measurement. So they gave, that was a mini measurement, I believe.
Thought about it.
4:15 remaining in the first quarter. 4th and 2.
Bernier's been the guy to get all the rush yards so far for the Eagles.
3 receivers to the near side left. That's going to be a pass that is going to be complete inside the 10 and down to the 7-yard line is Hunter Coffin on the wide receiver screen in the slot. First down, Eagles. The second 4th and 2 they have converted on this drive. Great drive for the Eagles to start this ball game.
Well, a couple of passes. He's 2 for 2 so far is Bernier, and finding the open man, giving him enough space to pick up the first down. That's a very heady play that time by the senior.
By the way, Coach Wayne just let us know that Salem was hurt last week. So you will not be seeing that young man this week. Hopefully he'll be back soon.
They're managing without him.
So far, so good. Bernier hands it off. Valier inside the 5, carrying tacklers inside the 2. To about the 1.5-yard line. I don't see any flags down, but I do see an official talking And they're going to say motion, and that'll move Windham back 5 yards. So instead of first and goal at the 6, it'll be first and goal at the 11. Penalties biting both teams from the wazoo here early.
Second penalty on this drive for Windham, and really just stunting their momentum a little bit. I am noticing, Maddie, that they are running with a ton of force. Valère and Bernier are taking a ton of steam into that linebacking core for the Bulldogs. Over 4 quarters, that's going to wear down some of these guys.
Especially in this sun. This is not your typical Friday night game at Fitzpatrick Stadium because it's a sunny Saturday afternoon.
Windham just slightly more aggressive right now.
Jacobson flanks out to the far right. Out by the hash mark. Handoff Valère. They're going to spread it open. He's going to get inside the 5 down to the 4, but a flag from the back judge. That tells me holding.
Yeah, already
and
called.
They'll move back 10 yards.
You know, those are the kind of undisciplined things that just are so costly when you're down in the red zone. I mean, we've seen it. We saw Oxford Hills make a couple of key turnovers in the red zone last night. You got to take care of the football no matter where you're on the field, but it becomes a lot more important when you're inside that 20. That's the second penalty inside the red zone for the Eagles, just shooting themselves in the foot here.
It'll be first and goal from the 23-yard line. Oh, the 24-yard line. Send Jacobson into the slot again. Bernier back to pass, throwing, looks. Jacobson had it, lost it, and caught it. Held on at the 15-yard line, even though he had Ben Stasium all over him. Managed to do the old Vincent Brisby, deflect it up high and catch it down low. And it'll be second and goal from the 15-yard line for Windham.
One read option that time. Bernier had his eyes on Jacobson the whole time. Delivered the football. Jacobson able to collect it and pick up a nice gain for the Eagles.
Valère, the deep back. Grover right next to Bernier. Bernier rolls out, throws off his back foot and off the hands of Hunter Coffin inside the 5-yard line. Incomplete. It'll be third and goal from the 15-yard line. 2:19 remaining in the first quarter. Windham and Portland are scoreless here at Fitzpatrick Stadium on the MBR Game of the Week.
3 for 4 on this drive is Bernier with the pass for 20 yards, and that time the first incomplete pass that he's thrown, but I think the best ball that he's thrown, the most catchable one. Receiver just couldn't reel it in.
Bernier looks over to the sideline to get the play. Bernier, Valère. Valère on the left. Bernier has not moved him yet. I guess he needs to be on the left for this one. Bernier back to pass, throws into the end zone. Cox, once again, can't quite haul it in. It was thrown a little bit behind him. He was down at the 1-yard line. Coverage from Pasquale, but Coffin wasn't able to squeeze it, and it'll be fourth and goal from the 15-yard line. Windham can usually kick, but I don't know if they're going to here. It doesn't look like they are. It looks like they're going to go for it.
Yeah, looks like they feel pretty confident in their offensive set that they'll go ahead and try to pick this up.
And Matt Parkin's going to take a timeout. One timeout for each squad now. Portland has 2 left. Windham has 2 left. 2:14 remaining in the first quarter. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back on the Game of the Week.
Our goal here at Maine Athletic Fundraising is to raise your program or group the most amount of money possible in the shortest amount of time, hassle-free.
Over the last 3 years, we've been able to raise over $10,000 every year, which has really allowed us to get the extra stuff the kids really need to run a successful program.
One of our biggest goals at Maine Athletic Fundraising is to really develop a relationship on the ground with the coaches, the community, and the boosters that are involved, and help bring them together and understand how important it is to fundraise.
Welcome back. 2:14 remaining in the first quarter. Matt Boutwell, Steve Flynn with you here. Glenn Shelley keeping us on the air on the radio side of things. Tyler Farnham keeping the camera operating here at Fitzpatrick Stadium. MBR Game of the Week from the Spectrum Healthcare Partners broadcast booth. On the radio side of things, it's the CMCC Hammond Lumber Game of the Week on Maine's Big Z 92.7 Sports Time 780. To watch this game, it's very simple. Go right to the front of MBR.org. It's right there. It'll literally be the first thing you see. If you want to go there another way, maybe a long way, you'll even find it through the links
And you can also subscribe on YouTube. Just look for MBR Sport. You'll be notified anytime we go live. Try to keep you updated on scores from around the state this afternoon. A lot of teams playing some Saturday games today. Big one in Freiburg between Leavitt and Freiburg. We'll talk about that in a bit. Right now, however, Windham is faced with a 4th and goal from the Portland 15-yard line. Both teams started off on the ground and moving the ball forward, but so far Portland has stalled out. Windham trying to avoid the same fate here with 2:14 remaining in the first quarter, coming out of a timeout.
Don't know what the confusion is over on the Portland sideline, but Coach Hartman needing some clarification anyway, and I think our official is going to have to go over and have a conversation with Perkins as well.
Apparently we've got some things going on, some discussions that need to be had.
This is when we need one of those inside mics or a drone that we can fly down there and figure out what's going on.
This is honestly when I miss being on the sidelines, because I would just be like, hey, what's going on right now? I wouldn't mind. Be fine. Is the official going to tell us what's going on, or is he just going to point it? Who knows? This is why it's probably a good thing that Coach Wing and Coach Haley are doing this game.
No. That is not going to be enough.
Not even a little.
We need a little bit more.
Still talking.
What could it be about? The ball's in the right location. We know the down and distance. Huh.
I don't know what the issue is here. Game is in a fairly, I'd say, about a 4-minute delay now?
Yeah.
Over something.
Not instant replay, folks.
No, we're not sure. All right. 2:14 remaining in the first quarter. No score. 4th and goal from Windham at the Portland 15-yard line. Portland has plenty of defensive backs back there. Bernier fakes the pass, has a man open, throws it off the back foot into the end zone, just onto the outstretched hands, just past the outstretched hands of Valliere. And a valiant effort by the Eagles, but the drive comes up short. 2:09 remaining in the first quarter. We're still scoreless here at Fitzy.
Boy, you had him in the back of the end zone, Matty, and Valliere did a nice job getting open, going to the back corner of the end zone. Bernier made a nice throw on the run to his right side. Just barely overthrew him, though. Wow. Good defense by Portland. Forcing the execution out of the Eagles, and Windham not able to do it.
Teron Moss and the Portland Bulldogs had a solid first drive before it stalled out after a penalty. He will take over again in the quarterback slot. We'll see how this continues for the Bulldogs. 0-3, looking for a spark and looking to get into the win column for the first time this year. Windham, of course, 2-1 on the year, looking to continue to be near the top of Northern A. 1st and 10, ball at the 15-yard line. Moss hands it off and did not get much other than a hard shot for his troubles, as that was Elowich, the junior, 6-foot junior. Might have just got knocked down to 5'11" on that.
Yeah, it was big numbers, 77 for Windham. Justin Lebrecht that absolutely stood Elowich up in his tracks and didn't leave him far to go. Wow.
There's been talk Lebrecht might be one of the guys considered for the Gaziano. Very good on the line. Already made a good play earlier, open field tackle. Not a lot of guys open field tackling Teron Moss.
No, that's for darn sure.
Minute 30 remaining here in the first quarter. Windham and Portland are scoreless. They send a man in motion, and that will be Stasium. He's going to take it off the left side on a sweep out past the 20 and down to the 23-yard line. It'll be about 3 yards shy of a first down. It'll be 3rd and 3 for the Bulldogs. They're going left to right across your radio dial, but you can see that on your video screen. No score between Windham and Portland. Approaching a minute remaining here in the first quarter. It'll be 3rd and 3 from the 27-yard line.
Been Pasquale, it's been Elowich, it's been Moss, it's been Stasium. Tell you, Portland is spreading the wealth, and it's causing a little bit of hesitation on the Eagles side of the football. All it takes is that 1 second pause, and Portland able to pick up some big rush yards. See if they can convert on a first down here.
Moss with his feet back at the 17-yard line. Now runs off to the right side. He's going to try to get it on the ground, and he's going to get taken down. And once again, LeBrecq will be involved in that. Also taken down by Connor McGinnis, shy of a first down, and it will be 4th and 2, and that will probably be the last play of the first quarter. We'll start off the second quarter with Portland getting ready to punt the football.
Just not convinced that Moss is selling that pass. Nobody thinks that he's going to pass, and so they're just crashing into the backfield, walling him off.
And that will end the first quarter. End of 1, no score. We'll be right back on the Game of the Week on MBR.org. Video stream, subscribe on YouTube, MBR Sport. On the radio side of things, it's the Game of the Week, the CMCC Hammond Lumber Game of the Week on Maine's Big Z 92.7 and Sports Time 780. We will be right back.
Falmouth Orthopedic Center. Central Maine Orthopedics. OA Centers for Orthopedics. All play on the same team. Maine's top orthopedic practices have joined forces for more efficient and affordable orthopedic care. Introducing Spectrum Orthopedics.
Welcome back. On the video side of things, 12 minutes remaining in the first half. We're about ready to start the second quarter. Portland will be kicking it, or will be punting it to Windham. I think they've forgotten that they're going to have to switch sides of the field, however.
There's still an issue. Whatever the issue is, I believe Rob O'Leary, the athletic director for Portland High School, now being involved. I have no idea what it could be about, but there's still an issue with the coaches and the officials, and there's a lot of pointing and gesticulating.
Can't tell if it's a lineup thing or not really sure. I'd like to tell you.
We would share if we knew.
If we find out, we'll tell you. But my guess is we won't find out. One place to look after the game would be MBR.org, though. Check out the forums there. Is the MBR Game of the Week from the Spectrum Healthcare Partners broadcast booth. The video stream at MBR.org. Subscribe to the YouTube channel MBR Sport. On the radio side of things, Maine's Big Z 92.7 and Sports Time 780. It's the Central Maine Community College Hammond Lumber Game of the Week. Of course, you can listen to all the games online at MBR.org. We'll get you some scores from Levitt Freiburg later, the other big game of the day. All sorts of action for you on Friday. We just don't know what time it all is. Apparently things move for holidays now. Punt is away. Low line drive. Bounces inside the Windham 35 and will take a Portland roll back to the 32-yard line. They'll stop it there.
Boy, heck of a punt there by Elowitz. That's really a big change in field position and give something Portland something to work with anyway defensively.
You know, you talked about it, but the coaches talked about it this week. Coach Wing, Coach Haley talked about field position. Coach Haley especially, and how important field position is. And when you have plays like that, especially on the special team side, that can flip that so that the field position isn't quite as brutal as it would have been had that been a average punt that kept them inside the 50-yard line, really changes things up a little bit. Just like, a 5-yard penalty can really disrupt an offense.
Well, and keeping it away from the return man, you're essentially doubling the distance between your end zone, the end zone you're protecting, and where the line of scrimmage is. And I'll tell you, that's a good strategy move anytime you can do it.
Bernier is in the shotgun. He's got Max Marshall next to him, fabulous freshman. And there for Salem today, who got hurt last week against Lewiston. Bernier runs it off to the left side, kind of had the run-pass option. He's going to run it. And nice spin move out past the 39 over to the 41-yard line. And he may have a first down.
Going to be right close to it. We'll see whether or not they move the chains. I think he might be maybe a yard short, Matty. Maybe.
So we'll give him 9 yards on that first run. It'll be 2nd and 1. A short one at that. Great spot here to go deep. We'll see if that's in the cards or if they just try to get the first down. They're just going to try to get the first down. Hand off to Marshall, and he's going to be lucky to be just shy of the line of scrimmage as Elowich was in the backfield waiting for Marshall.
We've seen Marshall, we've seen Grover, we've seen Vallejo. Collectively, they have 5 rushing yards. Bernier has 45 just in and of himself. So most of the successful offense is coming right at the legs or arm of number 20, Tanner Bernier.
3rd and 1. Bernier in the shotgun. Bernier's going to run it himself, and he's going to break through up over midfield and into Portland territory, just shy of the 49-yard line. Another 9-yard run for Bernier, and Bernier gets the Eagles' chains moving once again.
5 rushes, 54 yards there for Bernier, so he's averaging almost 10 yards a carry. And I'll tell you, very patient runner, allowing the blocking to get set up in front of him, finding the right hole and hitting it at the right speed.
They move Marshall over to the left now of Bernier. Handoff, Marshall follows a couple of blockers, and he gets swung down, and I mean swung down, by Nathan Kapongo. 6'5", 239-pound junior. They don't list heights and weights for Windham, but I'm going to go ahead and say Marshall not 6'5".
Smaller.
Yeah.
Smaller, relative.
Yeah, he's not. I'm going to say he's not 6'5", 240. Pitch, Marshall bounces to the outside. They're going to try to make use of his speed. He gets inside the 45 and down to the 43-yard line. That'll be a gain of 6, and it'll be a 3rd and 4 for Windham. Just under 10 minutes remaining. No score between Windham and Portland.
Going to come down to how disciplined this Eagles team can stay. They've had good success offensively. It's been penalties that have regressed them a little bit, at least stunted their momentum. So we'll see whether or not they can stay disciplined here in the second quarter, get some points on the board.
Bernier, feet back at the 49-yard line. Flag already down, which means it's a motion penalty. So whatever happens here is probably going to get called back. Pass was intended for Derek Foss. Griffin Foley got his fingertips on it, and it fell incomplete. We will see if they will take the penalty and make them redo 3rd down, or they'll force 4th down here.
Declined.
And that'll make it 4th and 4.
Illegal procedure.
And my guess is Bernier will go back and punt.
So their 4th penalty, they get the benefit. Funny how that works.
I think it's a buy 3, get 1 free special.
Sure.
Coffin back to punt. Looking for the old Coffin corner here.
Great area to fake in. We saw it last night with Edward Little.
They're going to do the delay of game here to give him 5 more yards, maybe. Seems to be taking an inordinate amount of time to snap this. High snap, kick is away, almost blocked. It'll take a bounce, and then it will take a roll. Jacobson had it, and then it's picked up by Pasquale. Pasquale to the 30, to the 45, down the 50. He's going to block her into Windham territory, down to the 44-yard line. Flag is down inside the 50. All sorts of shenanigans happening here on special teams at Fitzpatrick Stadium, Steve.
Wow. It's going to be a hold, I believe, against Portland. That will be. It's going to come all the way back. Yeah, I mean, boy, rule number 1, right? That ball hits the ground. You're telling your player, poison, get away. Pasquale just kind of kept considering it, and when Jacobson wasn't able to seal the ball down onto the field and squirmed away from him, Pasquale took the opening and skirted up the sidelines. I'll tell you, it looked like he might have broke that one away for a little bit there, but able to get contained. It was Hunter Coffin able to make the tackle for the Eagles.
So that'll move the ball back to the 43-yard line. Still, gutty play there by Pasquale. Once Windham has touched that football, he can do whatever he wants with it. He can run down to the 1-yard line and fumble it.
Got that
Ball's
right.
Still dead.
Yep.
It's almost given it's given special teams a free play. Moss back to pass, throws, open, caught! Foley inside the 30 down to the 26-yard line. It looked a little shot putty, but man, it was right on the money. Big play for the Bulldogs.
Not sure what's going on.
Flag again.
Yeah. I think
either there's some really undisciplined football being played right now, or we're just throwing a lot of flags. I'm not sure which.
I think he might have hit his hand on a helmet as he threw it. We'll have to go back and watch the high-definition replay.
It's on Windham, by the way.
Yeah, take the guys. You're going to decline that penalty and take the pass.
Yeah, let's move along here. Unless they're saying offsetting. There seems to be, I'm just going to say this, there seems to be a lot of confusion and miscommunication between the officiating crew and the players on the field.
We have not been given a call.
We have not been given any type of call or signal. Coach Perkins is going to get an explanation.
And, boy, do these things come up during pace of play conversations?
I don't know. I think that might be the next thing I mention. Maybe. We'll see.
Wow.
That's a tough one. So, a penalty that happened. I mean, here's the one thing that's really rough about this.
So, did they tack the penalty onto the end of that?
They tacked whatever penalty it was onto the end of it.
And was it a 5-yard penalty?
No, it was at the 20. Wasn't the ball? Yeah, it was inside the 25.
So
it was
a
down to the
10-yard
21.
penalty.
So, yeah, it's at the.
A 10-yard penalty of unknown nature.
We have no idea.
Okay.
Is what we're saying.
We'll record it anyway.
Yes, it was at the 26. So, yeah. Must have been half the distance to the goal to make it to the 13. Moss gets it on the snap now. He's going to stay on his feet. He's going to wish he didn't because Lebrec's going to get a big handle on him. And he's still going to stay up. But he'll be thrown back inside the 15 to the 16-yard line.
Last couple of carries for Moss have resulted in negative net yards. I've got him down for 6 carries and just 11 yards. Of course, take away that 5 he's given up. Might be a little bit different. But you wonder, he keeps favoring that right hand, the thumb. Whether or not he's going to actually be able to throw it. So Nope will come in and give Moss the play.
Wonder if that's going to affect him at any other time, i.e. basketball season.
Yeah, well, that was my first thought, for sure. Delay a game against Portland.
Apparently Portland wants a play clock reset, and they're not going to get that.
Ball now moved back to the 21-yard line.
So originally Portland was going to take over with 1st and 10 at the 26. Now it's second down and 18. Moss throws it deep. Look good there. Foley open. Can't quite hang on. I think his own helmet knocked the ball loose from his own hands. Second down.
Wow. Tell you, Moss can put some air underneath the football anyway, and that time able to, put it out there and give Foley an opportunity to go up and get it. Maybe a little too much air.
It is now 3rd down for the Bulldogs. 3rd and 18. They got to get to the 3-yard line for a 1st down. They're at the Windham 21-yard line. Both teams have had promising drives, stalled out due to penalty. Moss throws it deep into the end zone again. It's Foley. They found a matchup out there with Foley and Marshall that they want to try to take advantage of, but once again, Foley not able to haul it down. They are going right after the freshman, Steve.
Well, it's a smart move. I mean, why not put him up there and see who can go out there and make a play? And Coach Hartman feels comfortable with his kicker.
Quinn Clark.
Yeah, and a kid was kicking 40-yard field goals before the game. So this one will be, they'll kick it from, the 21? So it'll be about a 38-yard field goal, 37-yard field goal.
They'll snap it from the 21. He'll kick it from the 27-yard line. It looks like where they're going to set the tee up. Foley will hold it.
Boy, pretty considerable field goal at the high school level.
No wind, really, to speak of. Snap, ball down, kick up. It's blocked. Windham is going to pick it up. And that's going to be Valier who ended up with it. He's going to return it past the 30 to the 32-yard line. And Portland's drive is snuffed out as Quinn Clark's kick barely got past his feet.
Good pressure up the middle that time by McInnes, and LeBrecq on the Windham side and really just blew up the center, and not a whole lot of place for Clark to kick it. He was going to have to kick it quick and get it up in the air. Kicking from that kind of a distance, you got to kind of put that trajectory a little bit lower and right into the hands of some of those Windham defenders.
Bernier sends two receivers out to the far side right. And the pitch is going to go to Marshall. On the pitch, he goes up the middle. Moss is going to be the one who could take him down, and he knocks him down at the 30-yard line of the Portland Bulldogs. Huge gain. 18 plus 20. That's a 28-yarder. 38-yarder.
38-yarder, yeah. I mean, what an impressive run that time by the freshman on just his fifth carry. That gives him 46 rushing yards, and right up the middle of the field on the sweep toss. Had an open lane, cut to his left-hand side, and then diagonally back across the field. It was Moss's speed that allowed him to get brought down.
Marshall again up the middle. This time not on a pitch. It was out of the draw position. He gets inside the 25-yard line. Gain of 5. And Windham, head football coach Matt Perkins, imploring his team to get moving to the line.
Yeah, he wants their pace of play to keep on up.
It can be very tough to start slogging yourself down when officiating causes delays, so you got to keep yourself moving while they allow the game to continue. Handoff is going to be blown dead because it's going to be a
motion.
I believe Marshall left a little bit early. That's going to go from 2nd and 4 to 2nd and 9. And that's one thing that happens too when the game slows down. I almost think there's more penalties in that situation because guys are thinking way too much about things.
5th penalty in the first half for Windham. Too costly. Windham has really shot themselves in the foot. Let's see, 10, 20, 30, 40 yards worth of penalties here. That's significant, and it shows when you're sitting on the 30.
Bernier, hands off, Valier up the middle, breaks through one tackle, but not far enough. He's going to go up to the 28-yard line. By the way, did you hear Peter Gribben?
I did just hear that. I'm glad you commented on it because he switched it up on us.
We're going to have to find out.
Yeah, we'll have to get some intel.
Maybe he'll know.
Maybe one of them plays defense and one of them plays offense. Maybe.
Bernier back to pass, under pressure, squeaks out of it. Looks like he's going to get the first down, and does, inside the 20 and down to the 19-yard line. Tanner Bernier doing everything he possibly can to keep the Windham Eagles drive alive. Once again, uses his legs to get a first down. Windham in business in the Portland red zone.
Well, I'll tell you what, Bernier, not a guy who keeps his eyes down the field, and he's looking to throw it if he can, but he tucks tail and takes off. Very dangerous runner. 62 rushing yards for the senior.
Jacobson in motion from the right to the left. Handoff, Valier. He's going to run off left tackle and gain almost nothing, maybe a gain of 1, 2nd and 9. Second quarter, 5:40 remaining in the first half. Windham, no score. Portland, no score. Windham driving here.
Windham spreading the wealth, much like Portland did on their first possession. Really getting a lot of guys involved in the offensive mix, but Bernier doing the bulk of the work. Marshall with a big gain in the middle of this drive.
Bernier and Marshall in the backfield. They're going to send two men in motion at once. Jacobson sets now. Valier is going to be on the tight end on the line. They're going to get it out to out to Jacobson, and he can't hang on to it. Outside the 10-yard line at the 11 is where that's dropped. Stops the clock with 5:02 remaining in the first half, and it's 3rd and 8 for Windham.
Griffin Foley on defense that time and really getting to the spot right at the appropriate time, able to knock the ball away from Jacobson. Jacobson's a good-sized kid. Fully listed as 6'2", 165. Won that physical battle.
And another
encroachment
flag
against Portland.
That'll make it from 3rd and 8 to 3rd and 3.
Flag on the play. Indication is offside, Portland.
Interesting day for the flags.
We don't have the benefit of the one official at the Brunswick game who was hollering out
every call.
Yardage
Right.
call. That was impressive.
That was a welcome change in our world.
Yeah.
Bernier hands it off. Valier up the middle, up the gut, touchdown. Windham Eagles. Trevor Valier gets the Eagles on the board with 4:55 remaining in the first half. 6-0 Windham, point after pending.
13-yard touchdown by Valère that time, and really just picking up a full head of steam as soon as he collected the football, able to tumble well into the end zone and put 6 points on the board for the Eagles. See if they can try the PAT here.
Snap is on the way, down, kick up, and the kick is
good.
Is good. Had to wait for the. Apparently, we don't do the.
Yeah, we don't
just put our.
Yeah.
We don't do that now.
Let's
Okay.
let everyone know. Okay.
Yeah, we wait for the official for the signals. Okay, we'll do that. Anyways, good. 7-0 Windham with the lead. 4:55 remaining in the first half. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back on the Game of the Week.
Falmouth Orthopedic Center. Central Maine Orthopedics. OA Centers for Orthopedics. All play on the same team. Maine's top orthopedic practices have joined forces for more efficient and affordable orthopedic care. Introducing Spectrum Orthopedics.
Welcome back to the Game of the Week. MBR Game of the Week from the Spectrum Healthcare Partners broadcast booth. You can subscribe on YouTube, MBR Sport. Get notified every time we go live. Portland and Windham squaring off this week on the Game of the Week. On the radio side of things, the CMCC Hammond Lumber Game of the Week on Maine's Big Z 92.7 Sports Time 780. Wyndham just scored a touchdown. Trevor Valier with a touchdown run. They got the point after as well. It is 7-0 Windham with 4:55 remaining in the first half. Michael Hoffer from the Forecaster will join us at halftime. Little pooch kick is going to be fielded by the upback. That's going to be Foley, not the guy you probably want with the ball in your hands, as he continues to make room outside the 45, and they'll mark him down at the 48-yard line of Windham. Or are they marking him back further? No, they're marking him at the 48-yard line of Windham. That's where Portland will take over. Good field position to start here for Portland. Not sure what they were trying to accomplish there on that one, outside of maybe not let Moss get the ball.
Yeah, don't let Moss get the ball, but I think that's an adjustment. It looked like Foley might have moved up a line maybe on that return team, anticipating a shorter kick, and very talented was the senior, and giving the Bulldogs good field position here, starting in Windham territory.
Moss in shotgun. Gets it over midfield, down the sidelines, out of bounds at the 40-yard line.
Was Ron Moss. Put out of bounds by
Gain of 8, and it'll be second
number 21,
and 2.
Sigray.
Seventh rush attempt that time by Teron Moss, and most of the successes he's have been outside that tackle box. If he takes the ball and runs straight towards the rear end of the tackle, kind of cutting off that end, he's able to find a seam there every single time. If he's running more horizontal side to side, Windham's able to get up the field and contain him. He's got to try to keep moving forward.
Moss in the shotgun, 2nd and 2 at the Windham 40-yard line. Handoff on the sweep is going to be Stasium, and he is going to get crunched inside the 40 down to the 37-yard line. It's going to be enough for a first down. Tanner Bernier laid the wood on that one.
It seems like some sort of message was delivered, maybe in that last change of quarter. I'll tell you, on that special teams play, Trevor Valaire made a huge hit on Foley, and that time Bernier stepping up from that safety position and just lowering the boom.
Hustle to the line. Have Stasium in, almost in the backfield here. Moss is going to run it himself. Off the left side. He bounces back off the 45, dances inside the 35, down to the 33-yard line. Gain of about 1. Whole lot of running for not a lot of yardage there, and it's going to be 2nd down for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, and more side to side. You see him hopping and really not moving up the field towards the goalpost. That's going to be the negative thing in terms of the way that he scrambles. When he's moving his feet, you want to move in towards the goalpost, getting positive yards on the field, not spending energy getting nowhere.
Second and 8, they'll mark it at the 32-yard line. 3:20 remaining in the first half. Moss in the shotgun, back at the 37-yard line. Throws, and that's going to be batted down at the line. I believe LeBrecq was in on that block.
Immediately goes to that right thumb. Just don't think that he's got a good grip on the football where he can step back and deliver it good down the field.
Be interesting to see if that harms him in any way later with the ball in his hands running it, in terms of grip, things of that nature.
Well, I think it's a coaching point if you're Windham. Don't be afraid if he is running to reach in there and see if you can't try to strip that out.
Third and 8.
Delay a game.
And it'll now be 3rd and 13.
Penalty number 7 for the Portland Bulldogs. 45 yards in penalties here in the first half for Portland. 12 penalties have been called overall. Actually, 13 penalties have been called. 1 was declined.
Goodness gracious.
Goodness gracious.
3rd and 13 for the Bulldogs at the Windham 37-yard line. Portland has had plenty of opportunities to get into the end zone. Solid drives, haven't been able to cap it off. Moss under pressure, still under pressure, rolls out, gets inside the 35 and gets back to the 32-yard line. He gets back the 5 yards lost on the delay of game. Stops the clock with 2:44 remaining in the first half. 7-0 Windham. 4th and 13 for the Bulldogs. You see if they go for it or punt it. My guess is they're going to try and give it a shot here.
I think they're going to have to take a shot at it here, Matty. They don't really have... Well, Coach Hartman's going to take a timeout and discuss it with his offensive unit.
We'll take a timeout and discuss it with his offensive unit. We will keep it. Actually, you know what? We'll take a break on the radio side of things. We'll be right back. Over on the radio, Maine's Big Z at 92.7 Sports Time 780. We'll keep it here on the video stream game of the week, the MBR game of the week from the Spectrum Healthcare Partners broadcast booth. Reminder, coaches' interviews are a part of Maine Athletic Fundraiser Fridays. No risk, no upfront costs, no minimums. Find out more at maineaf.com. Make sure you subscribe to MBR's YouTube channel, MBR Sport, and get notified whenever we go live or upload new videos. You can subscribe today, MBR Sport on YouTube. Welcome back. Favorite game of the week from the Spectrum Healthcare Partners broadcast booth. On the radio side of things, it's the CMCC Hammond Lumber game of the week on Maine's Big Z 92.7 Sports Time 780. 7-0. Windham leading Portland here at Fitzpatrick Stadium today. Still in the first half, 2:44 remaining here. 4th and 7 will be the marking. 4th and 7 will be the marking here.
Just got thinking about it, man. The last 6 quarters of football that we've watched up until this point, we've only seen 3 touchdowns.
Right.
4 different teams. Not a lot of scoring, but a whole heck of a lot of defense.
Not a ton of them, no. And Windham is going to give 5 free yards going off sides. 4th and 2 now for Portland. 2:44 remaining in the first half. They're down 7-0.
5-yard penalty, offsides, Windham.
Don't know what else to say about it at this point.
Penalties coming out of timeouts. You cannot have penalties like that coming out of timeouts. I mean, that kind of discipline play. Right now, you're playing with the benefit of the fact that you got that 7-point lead. You know you're going to get the ball to start the second half. Stay disciplined on that line of scrimmage. Make them beat you. Quit giving them big chunks of yards. Make them do it.
Moss back to pass on 4th down, is going to throw it deep, intended for Foley, and it's going to be batted away, incomplete. Is that Scott Salem out there?
Yeah. Wow.
Unless they changed his number, it's usually Stuart Salem out there. Batting that one away.
Boy. Oh, I wonder.
Taking over. Now the 1st and 10.
Maybe that's Watson now. Maybe. I don't know. I remember Salem being a different size.
I thought so too.
Yeah.
That's why I found that different.
But there's a 21 out there for sure for Windham.
Yeah, okay. This is the first time I think 2 teams have ever changed numbers in the same game. I wonder if that's what Portland was wound up about earlier.
Could be. Could very well be.
Well, we'll get to the bottom of that at halftime. Meanwhile, it is 1st and 10 for Windham at their own 26-yard line, and we've got a flag. Delay a game. Back to the 22-yard line we go.
5-yard penalty on the flag.
Well, folks, you just hang on for 5 more yards of penalty, and you will join the Penalty Century Club. That's right, 100 yards of penalties here in the first half.
Do they get like a special jacket for that?
Let's hope not.
How does that work? Maybe a hat or something? Bernier hands it off. Marshall into traffic. I don't think that's going to be a good gig for him. Stuffed at the line. It'll be 2nd and long.
I don't think he gained much at all.
Marshall looks like he's going to do a really good job when he gets outside the line a little bit.
Yeah. Needs space to go. He's not a big guy, so he needs a little bit more room to run, get up to full speed.
Bernier back to pass, under pressure, now pulls it down. He's going to run it. He's going to head towards the right hash mark, break 1 tackle, break another, and then he's going to get knocked down at the 22-yard line. Ben Stasium with a great open field tackle on Bernier for no gain, even though a lot of yardage, a lot of mileage put on the car for that one.
Yeah, you're not kidding. Bernier had to work hard for that, but it was Stasium that made the nice tackle there at the end. Good form tackle, staying low and going for Bernier's legs.
He was kind of the last line of defense on that one. Bernier might have had a decent gain on that one for all his effort if he could have got Vastasium, but good low tackle. Under 1.5 minutes remaining here in the first half. Marshall. Now you've got Jacobson and Valier moving. Bernier looking to throw. Does. And throws it way behind Coffin. Incomplete. It'll be 4th down. With 1:16 remaining in the first half. Windham leading 7-0. And the Eagles not able to sustain the momentum that they found on their last drive.
Bernier came out efficient passing in the first half early, but hasn't been able to find it here. Now just 3 of 7 throwing the football.
Coffin will punt it from back at the 10-yard line.
Pasquale deep for Portland.
Pasquale is the deep man. He's going to field it at the 46-yard line, drop it, pick it up, and then lose his footing at the 49-yard line. Gets knocked down by Max Marshall there. And it'll be first and 10 for Portland, and they'll mark it just shy of midfield with 1 minute and 8 seconds remaining in the first half. Portland down 7-0 to Windham.
Still got a couple of timeouts, so Portland has the benefit of using some patience at this point and seeing what Windham is going to give them here. Windham very conscious of the fact that don't want to give up a score to end the first half, so if they play a little bit soft or play off coverage, Portland will take whatever they can get underneath. So far, the Bulldogs haven't had much success throwing the football. And if that's the case, load up the box if you're Windham and make them beat you through the air.
Moss in shotgun. They sent Pasquale in motion. Moss, pass, Stasium tackled way back at the 42-yard line.
Stasium tackled very quickly by number 81, Matty Babb.
Solid open field tackle there by Matty Babb, the sophomore. Sophomore and freshman getting some run here for Windham as they're going deeper into their depth chart.
Windham, 14 seniors, 10 juniors, 13 sophomores, and 12 freshmen. Very balanced roster. Only 7 seniors for Portland, 13 juniors, 15 sophomores for the Bulldogs, and they carry just 4 freshmen.
Approaching 20 seconds remaining here in the first half. Moss back to pass. Throws it complete to midfield. Caught inside the 40 and down to the 36-yard line will be Sam Nope. He's actually going to make it to the 36-yard line, excuse me. So still a solid gain. It's a 20-yarder.
Gain on the play. Down to the Windham 36-yard line.
That'll stop the clock for Portland as well, as they will take a timeout. We'll keep it right here.
Moss 2 of 5 passing for 47 yards here for the Bulldogs.
Interesting way he throws it. He's got an interesting, kind of an interesting release, and you're not sure if that has to do with the way the thumb got hit earlier or something else that he might have.
Kind of a quick, snappy release, and really throws the ball up and out there quite a bit. You like to see him put a little more heat on it, a little bit more mustard, but go with what you got. If he can throw it and they can catch it, it's all Coach Hartman will matter.
Freeport leads Grey New Gloucester 21-0 in one of the Saturday games going on right now. That's the first score I've seen.
Class A, what do we got? Thornton Chevrolet playing today?
Thornton Chevrolet. Dirigo and Dexter are tied at 7 at halftime. And Thornton Academy leads 14-0 at the with 11:20 in the half. Portland coming out of the timeout. They're at the Windham 36-yard line. 7-0 Windham with the lead. 12.4 seconds remaining here in the first half. Don't believe Portland has a timeout left. Moss back to pass, and there's a flag down. And it'll be a motion penalty out of the timeout.
Flag on the play is a procedure penalty against Portland.
Wow. Penalty number 8.
Five-yard penalty moves the ball back to the 41-yard line. It'll be first and 15.
Levitt leads Freiburg Academy 14-7.
Ooh. Up at Freiburg, correct?
Yes. That's Saturday afternoon affair over there.
Mountains of Freiburg.
It's a nice drive out there. 11.3 seconds remaining in the first half. Moss back to pass under pressure. Gets around Lebrecq. Now gets around Valier and gets out of bounds with 4.4 seconds remaining back to the 37-yard line. That'll be a gain of 3. Actually, at the 38-yard line, excuse me. So it'll be a gain of 3, and it'll be 2nd and 12 4.4 seconds left, so they're going to have to try to get it into the end zones somehow here.
Something. We'll see whether or not they reach into the bag of tricks like we saw Biddeford do a couple weeks ago with that hook and lateral.
Yeah. Well executed.
It's going to have to be something, though.
Not sure if Moss is going to be able to reach the end zone from here, but we'll find out. Gets deep under pressure. He's going to have to step up, throw it. He's got a man open. It's caught inside the 5, and he's knocked down at the 2-yard line. Vincent Pasquale broke free, and Windham just kept him out of the end zone. All sorts of sparkle, but no glitter on the field. End of one half of play. Windham hangs on by the skin of their teeth. 7-0, they lead Portland. We'll take a break. We'll be back on the radio and video side of things in just a moment. It is the game of the week.
Falmouth Orthopedic Center. Central Maine Orthopedics. OA Centers for Orthopedics. All play on the same team. Maine's top orthopedic practices have joined forces for more efficient and affordable orthopedic care. Introducing Spectrum Orthopedics.
Our goal here at Maine Athletic Fundraising is to raise your program or group the most amount of money possible in the shortest amount of time, hassle-free.
Over the last 3 years, we've been able to raise over $10,000 every year, which has really allowed us to get the extra stuff the kids really need to run a successful program.
One of our biggest goals at Maine Athletic Fundraising is to really develop a relationship on the ground with the coaches, the community, and the boosters that are involved, and help bring them together and understand how important it is to fundraise.
Right now, we're joined on the phone by the man at the helm of the Windham Eagles. Of course, they'll be in action tomorrow at Portland on 92.7 Maine's Big Z and Sportstime 780. The video stream will be at mbr.org. Just follow MBR Sport on YouTube. Windham head football coach Matt Perkins taking a quick minute with us today. Coach, your special teams and defense once again came to the rescue last week. I thought that was a pretty pivotal win for you guys last week against Lewiston.
Yeah, it was huge. I mean, they've really improved, and we're in a tough spot. We got a lot of injuries right now, and as always seems the case with us. So that's when you really count on those other phases of games.
I would totally agree with you there. How is the health of the team so far? Guys starting to get a little better. I know starting opening night, it seemed like you guys were losing guys. Then it's just kind of continued since then. I don't know if you guys and the Patriots have got something going on or what, but it seems like every now and then, every week there's somebody key going down for you guys, and you can only keep so much depth rolling. So it's got to be a challenge for y'all.
Yeah, it is. I mean, we didn't feel like our depth was super thick to begin with, and so we've really had to, not only try to build depth from younger guys, but also within, and having linebackers learn the defensive back spot, and having DNs play linebacker, and really trying to get guys to be interchangeable, just because you never know when it's going to happen. And we're not, totally out of the woods. We got probably another few weeks here before we can say that we're on the rise as far as health goes. So,
Coach Dave Wing here. Tell me about your Friday night team, and you don't play many Saturday games unless you're playing at Chevrolet usually. So this is suddenly a Saturday game. How does that change either the practice plan or the attitude of the kids?
Yes. Hey, Coach. Nice to talk to you. It's definitely different. I really like it because to me, Saturday games is that playoff feeling, and it gives you that extra day. And as a coach, I just love having that extra day. I don't feel as rushed. I feel like there's things in doubles that you haven't reiterated for a while, whether it's a pursuit drill or a ball drill, that you can use in that extra day and feel a little more prepared if that stuff arises. But I think for the kids, it's a little weird feeling. They're so used to the energy of the lights and everything else. And it doesn't take much to throw a 16, 17-year-old boy off his game. So sometimes that's a bit of a challenge on a Saturday morning.
We've always said, it's the only profession where you put your reputation and your legacy, if you will, in the hands of 15 to 19-year-olds and let it go.
Yeah, it seems like a really bad decision when you think about it.
True.
Talk a little bit about your team so far and some of the guys that have been able to fill in, and maybe a couple players that have had to fill in roles that they're not really used to, but are doing pretty well with it and have been flexible when you've asked them to be, especially with all the injuries you guys have had.
Well, I think last week was a big challenge. We took our defensive end, Grant Jacobson, who's always been our rock end, so he lines up on the tight end or where we feel the strength is of each team, and we moved him to backer. And we took our weak side in, Trevor Valier, moved him to the strong side, and had our center, Connor McGinnis, move in as the weak side in. And as Coach Wing will attest, it really is important, especially in a 50 defense, that your ends are really strong and athletic and understand what the other team is doing. So that was a huge mix for us to have those three kind of be interchangeable. And I think Grant led us in tackles. There were 15 last week. Nate Watson was out, and he's probably one of our best defensive players we have. So he's been out since Bonnie Eagle, the third play of the Bonnie Eagle game. So that was big, not having him in there, but having these guys step up, and all of a sudden you're facing a Lewiston team who usually lives and dies with the option. So that's a whole new challenge.
Let's talk a little bit about Portland. I got to watch them last week. You guys had your own experience with Bonnie Eagle, who is currently a well-oiled machine here in weeks 2 and 3 and now week 4 of the high school football season. Portland's still a dangerous team, and you never want to get a team like that doesn't have the win yet. It always just seems like a dangerous situation to have to face them.
Yeah, they have 4 guys that can score right now, and that's always scary. I don't think that team speed is something that we have a lot of, and I feel that they do. And we've got to do a really good job in the little things, from pursuit to assignment football and keeping them in the box and those things. So they are very scary on offense and special teams. I mean, last week the Moss kid returned a touchdown against Bonnie Eagle. He made them look like they were standing still.
No, you're 100% right. And then he took an option later on, and it was a very similar thing. So, no, big play opportunities there. And I don't expect Portland to be winless at the end of the year. So, certainly a dangerous one for you guys this week. Windham Eagles head football coach Matt Perkins joins us in advance of tomorrow's game against Portland. Of course, you can catch that 12:30 pregame video stream at mbr.org. You can subscribe to MBR Sport on YouTube, get notified when we go live. And, of course, you can hear it on the radio as well on Maine's Big Z 92.7 and on Sports Time 780. Coach, thank you very much for taking time out of busy Friday for us, and we'll see you tomorrow.
All right, guys. Good talking to you.
Thank you, Coach. Thank you. That is Windham head football coach Matt Perkins. From there, we'll slide over to Coach Haley and Coach Sterling, and that will wrap up the B list for today. Just a reminder, the games we got going on tonight, Oxford Hills at Edward Little on Maine's Big Z 92.7 and the Ox 96.9 AM 1450. You can hear
On the video side of things, it's the MBR Game of the Week from the Spectrum Healthcare Partners broadcast booth. Halftime, Windham 7, Portland nothing. Almost Portland something right before the half. However, the Hail Mary fell just short. It became a Hail Mare, I believe. Michael Hoffer joins us. You heard him on the pregame show. Now you get to hear him live for halftime. Michael, quite a first half between these two squads. Quite an interesting affair here early as these two squads are. One, Portland's looking to keep their season, get their season back on track, and Windham trying to kind of get some footing on theirs as they're all banged up right now, and kind of an odd flow to this game.
Yeah, very much so. And I've been here since 10 o'clock this morning. I did a girls' soccer game, 90 minutes without a single goal, and then the first quarter here was scoreless. I was wondering if I was ever going to see a point. And both teams had some chances early, couldn't finish drives. Portland had the field goal block. Does anyone have a better field goal block than Windham over the last few years?
No,
that's my. They saved that playoff game against Chevrolet last year. They blocked an extra point against Chevrolet a couple years back in the regional final. It seems like they always come up big in that spot. So that kept the game scoreless, and then they go down and finally break the ice. But Portland, you can't get much closer to scoring and not actually get in than they did on that wild last play of the half. I thought when Pasquale hauled the ball in, he was going to get in, but great job by the defender to keep him out. And, just like that, it's still 7-0 Windham, and this is kind of typical of what we've seen in these Class A North games this year. Low scoring, very defensive-oriented, both teams frustrated with penalties and mistakes. And, I think in a lot of cases it's who makes the fewer mistakes that's going to win.
No, I think you're 100% right about that, Michael, because that's kind of the way it seems to be going, especially in this one. As I look at this one, quite a few penalties out there right now. I'm not sure if Portland's quite at the Century Club yet, but I know they're getting there.
Yeah, 8 penalties so far, and that's not good.
And it's amazing, too, because Moss really looks like he's kind of lit a spark under this Portland offense. It doesn't show it on the scoreboard because Portland doesn't have a point, but I think this is the best the Portland offense has looked now in a couple of weeks with Moss back there being able to handle the ball on every play.
Yeah, no question this is their best offense with him leading the way, and I think early on they were conscious of trying to just let him avoid contact as much as possible, and now at this point of the season, desperation's starting to kick in a little bit for the Bulldogs. They're looking at 0-4 if they don't win here today, and you want the ball in the hands of your best players, and with that in mind, you see them trying to get the ball to Griffin Foley as much as possible too, and I'd like to see them try to get the ball to Foley on a little quick hitter, maybe an end around, a jet sweep, something like that. They got to get the ball in his hands to make something happen too, because obviously Wyndham's keying on Moss, understandably so. But no, Portland looks a lot better, with the exception of the penalties, and that's been a bugaboo since the kickoff of the opening game when they jumped offside. So we're looking at an issue that keeps recurring for them, and they need to clean it up because this is a winnable game for them.
Yeah, and if you also look at it from a Wyndham point of view, this is one that they've got to clean up as well. They've had their fair share of mistakes in this one.
Yep.
They could actually be up a little bit more right now had they not. And it's amazing how much a 5-yard penalty can really disrupt a team's flow.
Yeah, we see it. I saw it on both sides. Both teams on the verge of driving for a score, and this could be a very different game if one of those drives had resulted in a touchdown, either 14-0 in favor of Windham or 7-7 right now. But again, not much margin of error on any of these teams, with the exception of maybe Bangor when we get these top A North teams squaring off. So it's just an example of how interesting this region is. Obviously, the powerhouses are in the south, but maybe the more of the entertainment values in the north at this point.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like. That's for sure. It's kind of like Major League Baseball. You go to those divisions where the teams are kind of not quite pulling away, but it seems to be closer. It's kind of how that. It's almost a little bit like the AFC South, I guess, at this point.
I'd say this is more entertaining.
Yeah, I would totally say that. My apologies to the teams in Northern A for talking about that. There was a little bit of a discussion earlier. In fact, it seemed like the game was stopped for about 4 or 5 minutes.
Yeah.
There was this discussion on the side. Did it have to do with a jersey number? Like, we were trying to decipher what was going on.
Your guess is as good as
you
mine.
Have no idea either?
They had, okay. One of the teams called time. I think Portland called a timeout, so they had that. And then for another 2-3 minutes, they were milling around chatting about something. So I don't know if it was the weather or what. And speaking of which, it's a scorcher down there on the field.
Yeah.
I'm not going to complain because I know what's in store here later in the season.
You know what's coming.
Oh, what a warm one it is down there. It'll be interesting to see if that plays a role in fatigue or cramping down the road.
That was one thing we know, and it's so funny that you mentioned that because opening night we had Windham and Chevrolet, and Steve had mentioned that night cramping wouldn't be a big deal because I was wearing winter gloves opening night.
No, it was chilly.
It was chilly.
Yeah.
And since then it's been fairly temperate and fairly warm, and today you're looking at the first or second day of autumn, and there's still the chance of that. Been beautiful weather so far for most of these games, so can't complain about that. A lot of Saturday games for the Bulldogs this year.
Yeah, it's just a weird schedule. Their opener was supposed to be a Friday night, but there was a conflict with the Sea Dogs and their fireworks, so they had to move it. And we've got Jewish holiday conflicts this week and next. So next week they're actually playing on Friday afternoon over at Chevrolet.
Right, at
3:30. So
yes. Which also Deering is hosting Lewiston,
and that's
at 4:55.
Yeah, so there's some games have been changed there, and then their Portland's final game against South Portland. That's always a Saturday, so they're definitely not. It's not a regular Friday night schedule for the Bulldogs this year.
No, it really isn't. It's a lot of Saturdays at this point, but it works out for them because they're going to get a lot more coverage because we can't go all over the state for things.
That's right.
That South Portland girls game that was earlier that was here earlier was pretty hotly contested into double overtime as well. No score.
90 minutes of no scoring. So if you're a soccer aficionado, I think you find beauty in that. If you're not, you wonder where the scoring was. They did hit the post post once and the crossbar another time, and those are probably the highlights.
Anything you saw last night that made you say, hey, wow, I'm really surprised, or, oh, no, it just everything kind of stayed status quo last night?
I'd say Falmouth going down to Biddeford and winning was a little bit of a surprise. I don't think it was a major upset because they're so talented on offense, but I think Biddeford led a couple different times, and Falmouth, they played good enough defense when it mattered, and they had great special teams. We know how good their offense is, and I think maybe they've emerged now as the top threat to Kennebunk and Marshwood in that region. They're going to get Marshwood in a couple weeks after getting Messalonsky this coming week, so Falmouth's kind of in this stretch now where they're playing all the top B teams. It's a good chance to measure themselves, and we'll see how they come out. And I think when all is said and done, they're going to be a team you have to take seriously heading into the playoffs.
No, I would totally agree with that with you. Also some games being played today as well. I'll try to get you some scores in a little bit. Levitt taking on Freiburg today. Yeah. Never would have thought that would be for Class C supremacy.
Yes, I know. It's funny. And it's nice to see some new blood mixed in there every once in a while. So good for Freiburg Academy. I think TA's already got a healthy lead on Chevrolet, to no one's surprise.
No, and that's just kind of how that works. And, of course, TA will be taking on Oxford Hills here in just a couple of weeks. Yeah. So all sorts of stuff happening. Windham in Portland, we're at the half. Windham leads 7-0. You expect anything different in the second half of this one?
No,
anything from Portland, or you think this is what we're going to get about 2 more quarters of
I
this?
think what you see is what you get. Is the question is, can they execute? Will they be able to connect on one of these long passes down the field and actually get a touchdown out of it? Not really seeing them sustaining a long drive otherwise. But if Portland can make a play with their special teams, with their defense, that would really spark them. Otherwise, Windham likes this kind of game. I mean, they're fine playing a low-scoring defensive battle. They've won this game a lot, and if it comes down to another field goal, good luck to Portland, because Windham's good at blocking them.
Michael Hoffer from The Forecast. You can catch him online at theforecaster.net or follow him on Twitter. Of course, you can follow him just specifically for the Patriots tomorrow as well.
Yes.
Which, if you're into that
Go
sort of
Pats,
thing.
right.
Yes, definitely. All right, I'll let you get back down to the field
Thank
and
you,
get all
good
all
to see
panned. Good to see you. More on the way. It is the Game of the Week from the Spectrum Healthcare Partners broadcast booth on MBR.org, video stream-wise. Subscribe to MBR Sport on YouTube. Get notified when we go live. On the radio side of things, the CMCC Hammond Lumber Game of the Week on Maine's Big Z and Sports Time 780. We'll be back with second half action in about 3 minutes.
Falmouth Orthopedic Center. Central Maine Orthopedics. OA Centers for Orthopedics. All play on the same team. Maine's top orthopedic practices have joined forces for more efficient and affordable orthopedic care. Introducing Spectrum Orthopedics.
Our goal here at Maine Athletic Fundraising is to raise your program or group the most amount of money possible in the shortest amount of time, hassle-free.
Over the last 3 years, we've been able to raise over $10,000 every year, which has really allowed us to get the extra stuff the kids really need to run a successful program.
One of our biggest goals at Maine Athletic Fundraising is to really develop a relationship on the ground with the coaches, the community, and the boosters that are involved, and help bring them together and understand how important it is to fundraise.
Falmouth Orthopedic Center. Central Maine Orthopedics. OA Centers for Orthopedics. All play on the same team. Maine's top orthopedic practices have joined forces for more efficient and affordable orthopedic care. Introducing Spectrum Orthopedics.
Our goal here at Maine Athletic Fundraising is to raise your program or group the most amount of money possible in the shortest amount of time, hassle-free.
Over the last 3 years, we've been able to raise over $10,000 every year, which has really allowed us to get the extra stuff the kids really need to run a successful program.
One of our biggest goals at Maine Athletic Fundraising is to really develop a relationship on the ground with the coaches, the community, and the boosters that are involved, and help bring them together and understand how important it is to fundraise.
It is the MBR Game of the Week from the Spectrum Healthcare Partners broadcast booth. Reminder, coaches' interviews are a part of Maine Athletic Fundraiser Fridays. No risk, no upfront costs, no minimums. Find out more at maineaf.com. Thank you to Maine Athletic Fundraising for sponsoring our coaches' interviews. Make sure you subscribe to MBR's YouTube channel, MBR Sport. Get notified whenever we go live or upload new videos. Listen to all the games online if you can't watch it at MBR.org. Also, MBR All-Star Weekend happening November 18th and 19th to nominate players or accept an invitation. Visit MBR.org for that. MBR team page, well, we get a lot of sponsors for those. Sports Fields in Monmouth, Hometown Veterinary Care for Lawrence Football, Dixon's Country Market for Lawrence Football. Also, our friends at Magic Falls Rafting, Asian Cafe, Paul & Sons Garage. Get on your team's team page now, and MBR might come to your town. Visit MBR.org/advertising for more details. On the radio side of things, you're listening to Sports Time 780 and Maine's Big Z, brought to you by CMCC and Hammond Lumber Company. The video side of things, we're live from the Spectrum Healthcare Partners broadcast booth on the MBR Game of the Week. Halftime just wrapping up between Windham and Portland. Michael Hoffer joined us at the half. Windham 7, Portland nothing. Portland had a chance to get into the end zone right before the half. They did not. Vincent Pasquale was turned away at the 2-yard line on an attempted Hail Mary. We remain at 7-0. In Freiburg, Levitt leads Freiburg 17-14 at the half.
Wow. Close game there, and interesting to see what Tim Albert and the rest of that Hornet football squad is going to be able to pull off on the long road up to Freiburg Academy. It's a tall task, and I heard you mention with Hoffer at the halftime, it's a Class C battle now, and not a lot of people are expecting that, but two very good football teams, well-coached football teams. Be interesting to keep an eye on that one as we go through the second half here.
Siren has been done. We are about to be underway here for this one. For the second half of things, 7-0. Windham with a lead. And now we've got the discussion before we do the kickoff now. There's not a lot of
I did ask 3 different people who I would consider directly in the know what transpired during that first half that resulted in a 5-minute break. All 3 people said the same thing. I don't know. I have no idea what we were pausing for. And we still don't. There was a conversation that took place between Coach Hartman and the officials at the end of the half. But I think we're ready to line them up.
I think it's actually happening.
Play quarters 3 and 4.
Quinn Clark will kick it off for Portland. Dexter leads Dirigo 13-7 in their game. Halftime up at Bates for homecoming. Trinity 45, Bates nothing. Not the homecoming they were looking for.
No.
Clark lines it up at the 40.
For Portland, Quinn Clark. Deep for Windham, Coffin, and Marshall.
Kickoff. It's going to get down inside the 5. It's going to be fielded there by Hunter Coffin. Coffin up the field, just shy of the 20-yard line. And that is where Windham will take over. 1st and 10 to start the third quarter here on the Game of the Week.
It was halftime adjustments last night that the Edward Little Red Eddies made and came out, and in that second half of football able to really control Oxford Hills, force a couple of key turnovers. So we'll see what adjustments both coaches have made here. Coach Perkins now deferring until the second half, happy to take the football to start the second half on the offensive side. We'll see what the senior Bernier has for his Eagles offense.
Bernier has 2 running backs flanked to his right and left. Sends Jacobson in motion from the left to the right, or from the right to the left, excuse me. Handoff is going to be Valier, and he's going to lose 2, and it'll be 2nd and long.
Looked like Bernier might have had the option to pull that back in and then go off to the weak side. It was wide open, and I think he saw that, still handed it off. Saw it a little too late.
Loss of 2 on the play. 2nd down and 12. Ball's at the 18.
Bernier in the shotgun. Valier next to him. Actually, the deep back is Valier. And delay game.
Encroachment, I think, is going to be on Portland.
At this point, I just feel like I'm playing guess the penalty. So
that's what it is.
That'll be a 5-yard gain for Windham without Too much effort. It'll be second and 7 now.
5-yard penalty against the Bulldogs. Moves the ball out to the 23-yard line. It's 2nd down and 7.
9th penalty against Portland.
Bernier waits for the snap. Gets it. Hands it off. Valier is going to get met in the backfield. He'll get up to the 25-yard line. And you'll have a flag back at the 37-yard line.
Yeah, the flag's going to be on Windham. I think it's going to be a personal foul, unnecessary roughness. That's going to be my call. Maybe a chop block.
Seemed to happen ways down the field. And it's going to be a block in the back is the initial call. And then another. Were there two?
It's an illegal block.
Not sure why the Portland players are moving backwards. This is going to move Windham back. And the first half has spilled over into the second half here. Flags, flags, everywhere a flag. Officials shuffling everyone off the field. And now they're going to move Windham way back.
Well, the officials have to take control of the football game. They're responsible for administering the play and administering the pace of play, and they just do not have control over this game. The coaches are constantly asking questions. The players are fake throwing flags. We've got to get order.
2nd down and 17.
2nd down and 17 for Windham. They are now back at their own 13-yard line. They got to get to the 30 for a first down. 10:55 remaining in the third quarter. Windham leads 7-0. Valier up the middle. Gets nothing. And it'll be 3rd and 13. 3rd and 17, excuse me, from the 13.
Expect Windham to come out with a little bit more authority than they have here in this second half on their first drive. Really not in any sort of rhythm and facing a third, very unmanageable down and distance for them.
Seems like neither team is able to get into any type of rhythm at this point. Pitch, Valier, off the right side, past the 20, past the 25, over the 26, just shy of the first down. It's a good open field tackle there by Stasium to keep him from getting past the sticks. Windham's going to be forced to punt on 4th and 4, under 10 minutes remaining in the third quarter. 7-0 lead for the Eagles.
They'll have short down and distance. They'll only have about 3 yards to go, but I think Coach Perkins feels plenty comfortable putting it on the foot of Hunter Coffin and allowing him to kick it away.
Defense has done their job so far. We'll see if that holds. Also, Portland has had some neutral zone infractions today, so always a possibility on that. Kick by Coffin is away. And it's going to get back to about the 40-yard line. Keeps marking. 35-yard line is where it will be marked out. That's where Portland will take over, down 7-0, with 9:26 remaining in the third quarter.
It's always interesting to me when the official sees the ball go out of bounds on the punt, and they have some sort of system to figure out. They go where the ball landed and then walk so many steps back. And the coach for Windham had a guess. If he was playing that range game with the Price is Right, he would have been in the green bar. He was in the right general vicinity.
First and 10, Moss at quarterback, back at the 30-yard line, waiting for the shotgun snap. He is going to run off to his left, and he is not going to get anywhere. He tried to get out of the tackle of Justin Lebrecq, and he did not. Loses yardage back to the 31, and it's 2nd and 14.
Boy, that's sportsmanship, huh, from Lebrecq. First, I'm going to grab a handful of your jersey. I'm going to tear you down by it. Then I'm going to make sure it comes back up over your shoulder pad. I want to make sure that you're still looking good next time I go after you.
Second and long for Portland, not the down and distance that they are looking for.
Note in for Stasium for the Bulldogs.
We just got our first implore from the crowd to get some blocks in there.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right. Hopefully that carried on to the field.
Screen pass, and they've got a man open. That's going to be Foley. Foley's been a big-time playmaker today. Down the sideline, stops, starts again. Inside the Windham territory, down to the 47-yard line. 22-yard pass play, and we've got officials stopping the play.
Eagle down, eagle down, eagle down.
An injured Windham Eagle back at the 27-yard line. I'd like to tell you if that was Watson or Grover, but, well.
We'd be guessing, folks.
Tanner Grover is what Peter Griffin just said.
Okay.
So we're going to say that he is there, and we'll say Watson is 21. And if we are wrong, we apologize to the family of all involved.
All. Includes you, Salem.
Yes, includes you. And once again, another big play for Portland, but then something happens to stop the game every time Portland seems to get some type of something going forward. If you know it's odd.
For a game that has had one score, this has been a fantastically long effort on one of the warmer days that we've had here. That's the warmest day we've had this fall. Hey.
With two teams that are running the ball a lot. Moss back to pass again. And that'll be incomplete. Now that will stop the clock. Not a lot you can do about that.
It was Nico Levitt. That's who he had over the middle, just about a 6-yard out pattern, and just kind of looked like a jump pass almost a jump shot, but overshot Levitt.
The incomplete pass. It's a second down and 10. Stasium back into the Portland lineup.
8:09 remaining in the third quarter. 7-0 Windham. Portland with the football at the Windham 47-yard line. Handoff, Pasquale. Cuts it upfield. He's going to get some yardage inside the 30, inside the 20, breaks some tackles, keeps his feet outside the 10 to the 11-yard line. I see no flags, and it looks like Portland's going to hurry up to the line to try to get some things to continue rolling.
Seems like they just want to kind of put the pressure on him a little bit.
35-yard pickup on the play. Vinny Pasquale.
See if they can't force the issue in some way.
Mild heart attack. We're good now.
Ball on the Windham 13.
$7:20 remaining in the third quarter. 7-0 Windham. First and 10 for Portland at the Windham 13-yard line. Moss is going to run it himself off the right side in the sidelines and out of bounds at the 7-yard line.
Moss pushed out of bounds by number 25, Nathan Watson.
Boy, Coach Perkins really imploring his defense to dig in a little bit deeper here. You got to come up with a strong defensive stop. Playing with that lead. And you got to imagine this Eagles defense would love to try to keep a shutout here against the Bulldogs.
Second and 7. They're going to mark him out at the 10-yard line.
Second down and 7.
Bulldogs can still get a first down without scoring a touchdown. Moss is going to run it up the middle.
Moss.
Going to get to about the 6. Gain of 4. It'll make it 3rd and 3. Clock running. Just under 7 minutes remaining here in the third quarter. 7-0 Windham. Portland looking to tie it.
Boy, interesting to see them use Moss as much as they have here against Windham. It certainly wasn't used as much last week. You know, at either skill position. We saw him a lot more on special teams. This week, signal caller and major ball carrier for the Bulldogs. He's been the offense so far for Portland.
And that'll be Moss again, and he's going to get planted into the turf. Back of the 9-yard line. Once again, Lebrecht causing the damage. Justin Lebrecht causing havoc on the defensive side of the football for Windham. And now Moss is going to head to the sideline. It looks like they're going to send Quinn Clark out to kick the field goal with 6 minutes remaining here in the third quarter. This will be the second attempted field goal for Portland. Their last one was blocked.
It'll be Lebrecht again up the middle, trying to get a push to see if they can avalanche out the middle of that offensive line and get a handout.
Wonder if they might run a fake here as well. They're within that spot of the end zone. Snap down, kick is up, and the kick is no good. It was wide to the right. Portland's had a couple of bites at the apple, but they have not been able to secure anything but the stem. 5:36 remaining in the third quarter. Windham leading Portland by a score of 7-0 here on the game of the week. And once again, a long drive. Portland and Windham coming up shy.
Yeah, you got to convert on those. You work your way down the football field and really able to pick up some good yards, but credit to Windham, dug their heels in, didn't allow Portland to go too much further. Really keying on Moss at this point. Coach Perkins now asking for continued clarification.
Got a little stoppage here in between sets. There seems to be like, I don't want to call them TV timeouts, but it's like TV timeouts, which we haven't had in weeks. There's just a little stoppage, a little this, a little that, a lot of conversations between the coaches and officials.
Officials getting water, apparently.
Yeah, and it's a hot day. I can see that. But 3 of them were over talking with with a coach.
Quite a bit warmer out there on the field. I mean,
it's a little sunnier out there.
Reflecting the heat up in these aluminum stands.
Can't be
also
healthy.
Adding to the solar gain,
especially on that turf. Marshall gets the pitch. Looks like he might have fumbled. Portland thinks they have it. There's a flag on the field. Officials will tell us what's happening. Portland thinks they've got the football.
Nico Levitt trying to get the fans riled up. He's pretty convinced that they have the football, and they do.
No,
they haven't signaled it, huh?
Not yet. We'll wait patiently along with everyone else.
Cue the Jeopardy music.
Okay, now we've got a decision. No, just kidding. Let's double check that.
Welcome
Hold
to
on.
the game of officials featuring the Portland Bulldogs.
Yes,
and
guest appearance by the Windham Eagles and Portland Bulldogs.
Holding declined against the Eagles.
They took entirely too long to decipher that.
Wow.
On a turnover.
Portland does have the ball. Okay.
Portland gets it inside the 20 at the 18-yard line. I'm sorry, our excitement's muted. It's just every time there's some type of...
It's being attenuated here as well.
Right. 5:26 remaining in the third quarter. Moss is in at quarterback. Zach Elowich is next to him. Wonder if he's going to get the ball here at some point. Moss back to pass, looking into the end zone, intended for Foley. Incomplete. Watson had it in the hands, batted it away.
Boy, almost picked off there. It was 3 guys going up for it, 2 white jerseys and 1 blue jersey. Moss has got all kinds of confidence in his classmate, Griffin Foley, but not able to collect it.
No, I don't even know what that name was. Did you know what that name was?
I did not get that name.
No idea.
I did see Ronaldo Wakati warming up, left-handed quarterback for Portland. He could throw it pretty good, but he has not got even a sniff.
Moss sends Pasquale in motion. Pasquale's going to take it off the sweep. Tries to cut it upfield. Inside the 20, he's going to get spun backwards at the 17-yard line.
I'll tell you, the offensive line and linebacking core for the Eagles have really done a nice job engaging the Portland Bulldog offensive unit. And what that's doing is it's freeing up the secondary, and Bernier's flying up from that safety spot and making some huge tackles, coming with a full head of steam and delivering some pretty good heat.
Stopping it for water here.
Yeah, we got a cramp. We got a hamstring cramp.
So Pasquale is going to pop out of the game. People aren't prepared for hamstring cramps at this time.
I don't remember the last time I saw cramping like this in week 4.
Nope.
Seen it in week 2, seen it in week 1, but a reversal of fortune. We covered Windham and Chevrolet in week 1, blowing 40 and really feeling like the middle of winter, and it's vastly different here in week 4 down at the Fitz.
4:55 remaining in the third quarter. Injury timeout / water break. 3rd and 10 from the 18-yard line for the Portland Bulldogs. They got the ball after a fumble by Max Marshall, set them up in golden field position. They've been in the Windham red zone multiple times. They've still come away with no points. Sam Nope is in the slot. Moss back to pass, looking, rolls out to his right, is going to get dragged down. Back past the 26-yard line. Connor McGinnis and Justin Lebrecq. Who else? And it's 4th and long.
Yeah, senior interior lineman, and it's been McGinnis and Lebrecq. Offensively, if you want to do anything, those are the two big guys you're going to have to control in the middle. The problem is defensively, you got to account for him too, because McGinnis is a center, Lebrecq a tackle. Two big guys move very well in space, know their strength well. One of them is tough enough to stop, but two of them even tougher.
4th and 19, ball on the Windham 27.
And another timeout. Portland will take a timeout with 3:53 remaining in the third quarter. We'll take one as well on both sides of things. It's the game of the week. We'll be right back.
Falmouth Orthopedic Center. Central Maine Orthopedics. OA Centers for Orthopedics. All play on the same team. Maine's top orthopedic practices have joined forces for more efficient and affordable orthopedic care. Introducing Spectrum Orthopedics.
Welcome back. 3 minutes, 53 seconds remaining in the third quarter. The Windham Eagles lead the Portland Bulldogs 7-0, but not from lack of trying on the effort of the Portland Bulldogs. Right now it is 4th and 19. The ball is at the Windham 27-yard line. Portland has had a field goal blocked. They've had a field goal missed, and they've been turned away in the red zone now at least a total of 3 times, and would be 4 here if they don't score on this drive on a 4th and 19.
And you got something drawn up here. I'd imagine it includes Teron Moss throwing the ball up in the end zone.
Moss back to pass, under pressure, and is not going to be able to get it away. He's going to get knocked to the ground. Ball's going to be loose, and it is going to be back at the 37-yard line. Moss gets sacked again, and he got crunched on that one. And Windham will take over with the ball at their own 37 and 3:44 remaining in the third quarter.
Moss is not. He didn't have anywhere to go. You gotta think about the fact that he just not have a lot of room to work with in there. As soon as he got the ball, looked like he had a couple of guys in his face and just not able to get out of the way or find an open lane to throw.
Portland's defense on the field ready to go. Windham over on the other sideline. They're ready to go.
Looks like Moss might be cramping up a little bit, getting treated for some hamstring cramps on the sideline.
Bernier Has Marshall in the backfield with him. He sends Valier in motion. Bernier's going to go off to the right and slip and fall and gain nothing. Happens a lot here on this turf.
Yeah, you wonder if maybe it's too soft and they need to redo it. You know, kind of like they did at Patriot Place. Interesting. It's a big investment to redo, don't you think?
I feel like it would be. Halftime, Lisbon over Shakopee Valley, 42-7. Bernier back to pass, under pressure, and is going to go down back at the 31-yard line. It'll be 3rd and long for Windham, and Windham's offense, since scoring their touchdown, has not been setting the world on fire.
Well, they're just not playing with any sort of pace, Matty. One of the things that I noticed about Edward Little in that game last night was the differentiation between playing to win and playing not to lose. Right now, you got to think about the fact that you're down a point. You've got to start chasing here.
Dexter leads Dirigo 21-7 in the 3rd quarter. And then you're going to have a run up the middle. That'll be a nice play by Marshall. It's going to be shy of the 1st down, though, out to the 44-yard line. Stasium might have saved that one from being a 1st down, Steve.
Yeah, I mean, he had one. Stasium was the only guy between he and the end zone, and a quick leg tackle there right at the end saved the touchdown and preserved the punting situation here for the Eagles. So Portland is going to get the ball back.
Coffin back to punt. Away. Kick is away. And it'll bounce and be fielded by Pasquale back to the 25, to the 30, to the 35, to the 40. Portland's special team has been their key. Up to midfield, 45, into Windham territory, to the 40, and down to the 37-yard line. Portland special teams once again Vincent Pasquale setting up the Bulldogs with solid field position. 1:36 remaining in the 3rd quarter. Portland down 7-0 to Windham. Can they take advantage of this opportunity?
Tell you, to this point in the game, Matty, time of possession has been won by Windham. Windham seems to be the more physical team. They've made fewer mistakes with the football. But right now, it would appear to me like Portland is playing with a lot more confidence than is Windham. And with that single-point lead, that says everything right now. Could make it a 2-score game here.
Halftime between Maine and James Madison. James Madison leads 7-3 at the half.
All right, so they're in it.
They are in it. Moss back to pass, looking, throws out to the right. That's going to be complete, and that'll be complete to Griffin Foley at the 33-yard line is where they'll mark him down. Gain of 6, 2nd and 4. 1:20 remaining in the 3rd quarter. Wyndham 7, Portland nothing.
Pass is complete to Foley. Ball now down at the 34-yard line.
Actually going to mark at the 34, so it'll be a gain of 5. 2nd and 5. 1:10 remaining in the 3rd quarter.
2nd down and 5.
Portland spreading it out. 2 receivers to the left, 2 to the right. Now they're going to send a man in motion. That'll be Stasium. And then Stasium's going to get the ball, and Justin Lebrecht is just going to wing him down to the ground. Justin Lebrecht is having himself a day.
Yeah, I tell you, both sides of the football, he's been able to bust through, create a whole lot of space. They've double-teamed him, triple-teamed him. He shed blockers and seems to be gaining strength here as we progress into the end stages, late stages of this game.
Approaching 25 seconds remaining in the 3rd quarter. Portland trails Windham 7-0 on the MBR Game of the Week. From the Spectrum Healthcare Partners broadcast booth. On the radio side of things, it's the CMCC Hammond Lumber Game of the Week on Maine's Big Z 92.7 and Sports Time 780. 10 seconds remaining in the 3rd quarter. Mawson's man in motion. He is going to pass it. Pass is complete. That will be number 88, Nico Levitt, who was imploring the crowd earlier to pump it up. He's going to get back to the original line of scrimmage, and we will start the 4th quarter with Portland looking to keep their drive alive. End of 3 quarters to play. Windham, Portland. Windham leads 7-0. We'll be right back.
Let's talk a little bit about the team, Bonnie.
Falmouth Orthopedic Center. Central Maine Orthopedics. OA Centers for Orthopedics. All play on the same team. Maine's top orthopedic practices have joined forces for more efficient and affordable orthopedic care. Introducing Spectrum Orthopedics.
Start of the fourth quarter here at Fitzpatrick Stadium. Beautiful sunny day here in Portland. MBR game of the week from the Spectrum Healthcare Partners broadcast booth. Matt Boutwell, Steve Flynn with you here. Glenn Shelley keeping us on the air back at the Gleason Media Palatial Estate. Beautiful downtown Norway, Maine. Tyler Farnham keeping our camera pointed in the right direction. Start of the fourth quarter here. Windham leads Portland 7-0. On the radio side of things, it's the CMCC Ham and Lumber Game of the Week on Maine's Big Z 92.7 and Sports Time 780 Cushing. Listen to the game at MBR.org. You can watch the game at MBR.org. Subscribe to MBR Sport on YouTube and get notified when we go live. Portland will face a 4th and 4 from the Windham 33-yard line to start the fourth quarter.
Got to imagine they're going to go to the air here, and whether or not he tries to go to Moss, that is, goes to his favorite target in Foley, or maybe go to Levitt out on the short side.
Moss waiting for the shotgun snap back at the 38-yard line. And false start as number 78, Charles Egeland, the 6'4", 279-pound senior, jumped a hair early, and it will now be 4th and 9. And mistakes that were plaguing the Bulldogs and Eagles in the first quarter continue to plague both squads here late in the second half.
Just a costly penalty that time because it moves them well out of range for anything they feel comfortable with offensively, and they'll go ahead and play the field position battle and let Elowich kick this one away.
He'll kick it back at the 49-yard line, and now
Timeout, Windham.
we'll have a Windham timeout. So we'll take a timeout. We'll be right back. It's game of the week. We'll be right back.
Our goal here at Maine Athletic Fundraising is to raise your program or group the most amount of money possible in the shortest amount of time, hassle-free.
Over the last 3 years, we've been able to raise over $10,000 every year, which has really allowed us to get the extra stuff the kids really need to run a successful program.
One of our biggest goals at Maine Athletic Fundraising is to really develop a relationship on the ground with the coaches, the community, and the boosters that are involved, and help bring them together and understand how important it is to fundraise.
Welcome back. Still awaiting to start the fourth quarter. I mean, technically we have, but there was no actual play for it as Portland got called for a false start. They will punt from their 49-yard line, trailing Windham 7-0. Snap is away, fake punt, and it is going to be a complete pass up past the 30 to the 25-yard line, and who else? Vince Pasquale, the special teams dynamo, making all sorts of things happen. And Portland back in business at the Windham 25 might be the shot in the arm the Bulldogs needed, down 7-0.
Totally caught off guard that time were the Windham Eagles, and you wondered whether or not after that timeout Coach Hartman might have still dialed something up. Felt pretty comfortable allowing Elowich to throw the ball. I'll tell you, he delivered a heck of a pass down the field to Pasquale.
Cooper Chasen with a touchdown run. Dexter still leads Dirigo 21-13. Still waiting on some updates from the old Levitt-Freiburg game. Try to get you some of those. Moss in the shotgun is going to run it up past the 25 to the 23, and flag is down. I'm going to go ahead and guess holding, but we'll see if that's anything else.
Yep, no question. Holding it is.
A holding penalty against the Bulldogs.
Third penalty here in this second half, their 11th of the game.
Well, it's trending in the right direction, I guess, right?
70 yards in penalties for the Portland Bulldogs. Boy, costly in a single possession game.
Moves the ball back to the 36.
Dangerous.
First down and 21.
Having said that, Windham allowing Portland in this game. They're definitely not closing them out, allowing the Bulldogs all kinds of life here.
Moss sends a man in motion. Pasquale takes a sweep and tries to do a screen pass to Foley, but it bounces short, incomplete. Stops the clock with 10:57 remaining in the fourth quarter. Be 2nd and 21 for the Bulldogs.
Shaking his right hand a little bit is Teron Moss. Just not able to get a good enough grip on that ball and deliver it over to Foley.
Portland breaking the huddle. They're at the Windham 36-yard line. They're going to get down to the Windham 15-yard line for a first down. Moss back to pass, looking to throw out in the flat, incomplete. Kind of threw that at an odd angle while getting knocked down. It was intended for Pasquale, but incomplete.
Well, I'll tell you what, Moss is scrambling, trying to find as many open spots as he can. He works hard back there in the pocket. Probably been more physically active than any other player on the field, just with how much he's had to move to try to get free at the quarterback spot.
Third down and 21 to go.
3rd and 21, 10:52 remaining in the fourth quarter. Windham leads 7-0. Stasium to the far side right. Pasquale in the slot. Moss will run it on the outside to the 30, to the 25, to the 20, and he's going to bounce out of bounds just shy of the first down at the 16-yard line. And from 3rd and 21 to 4th and 1 with 10:42 remaining in the fourth quarter, Portland continues to stay alive.
Not even a question at this point. Just a matter of what play Coach Hartman wants to go with here. He's definitely going to try to pick this one up.
Dexter increases their lead, 28-13 over Dirigo. Nearing the end of the third quarter, still 17-14, Levitt with the lead. Freiburg starts their own 10-yard line in the fourth quarter. Winslow beat Belfast 56-14. Stay tuned to MBR.org later on, and of course tomorrow for all the game recaps and scores from around the state. And timeout taken by Portland. That'll be their second timeout with 10:42 remaining in the ball game. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back.
Our goal here at Maine Athletic Fundraising is to raise your program or group the most amount of money possible in the shortest amount of time, hassle-free.
Over the last 3 years, we've been able to raise over $10,000 every year, which has really allowed us to get the extra stuff the kids really need to run a successful program.
One of our biggest goals at Maine Athletic Fundraising is to really develop a relationship on the ground with the coaches, the community, and the boosters that are involved, and help bring them together and understand how important it is to fundraise.
Welcome back. MBR Game of the Week from the Spectrum Healthcare Partners Studios. On the radio side of things, it's the CMCC Hammond Lumber Game of the Week on Maine's Big Z 92.7 and Sports Time 780. Listen online, watch it online at mbr.org. Portland has a 4th and 1 at the Windham 16-yard line. 10:42 remaining to play in this one. Windham leads 7-0. Big 4th down play here for the Bulldogs.
Drive that was kept alive by a fake punt and successful pass from Elowitz to Pasquale.
Elowitz in the backfield with Moss. 4th and 1. Moss is going to run it off the right side, gets around LeBrecq. He is going to get inside the 10 and into the end zone. A touchdown, Bulldogs.
Boy, credit to the Portland Bulldogs for just grinding away and finally pushing on through and putting up those 6 points on the scoreboard. This becomes a huge point after the touchdown.
Windham has already blocked a field goal today. Clark has missed a field goal that was just about the length of an extra point. That was on the other end of the field, however.
Yeah, they're definitely going for two.
They are
here.
going for two. They're not kicking anything. 10:35 remaining. Moss is going to run it off the left side to the 5, and he is going to get taken down at the 3. Tanner Bernier will take him down in the open field, and it's 7-6, Windham with the lead. We'll take a break. We'll be right back on the Game of the Week.
Falmouth Orthopedic Center. Central Maine Orthopedics. OA Centers for Orthopedics. All play on the same team. Maine's top orthopedic practices have joined forces for more efficient and affordable orthopedic care. Introducing Spectrum Orthopedics.
Windham leads Portland 7-6. Teron Moss with a 16-yard touchdown run, but the 2-point conversion failed. Any particular reason you think they went for the extra point there instead of the...
I think they felt good about their scheme. They felt good about that sweep to the right-hand side with Teron Moss, and thought in close to the end zone like that, if Windham would defend it a similar way, they just reversed it and went off to the left-hand side. But Coach Perkins made the appropriate adjustment, able to sniff that play out. Questionable, Maddie. You know, we've seen Portland not be scared to attempt a field goal, 37-yard field goal. Interesting for them to not elect to try to tie it up here at home.
Kick is away. Fielded deep by Coffin at the 10 to the 20. Stutter steps at the 25, and he's going to get tangled up there, and that will be where that play ends. 10:26 remaining in the fourth quarter. 7-6, Windham with a lead.
Still got a lot of time left in this football game. 10 minutes to go. We've got 80% of this fourth quarter still left. So Windham's got their work cut out for them with just a single-point lead here. They can use it to their advantage some, but certainly going to need to move the ball down the field and see if they can't put more points on the board, separate themselves from these Bulldogs.
Freeport leading Great New Gloucester 35-0 at the end of 3 quarters of play. Lisbon leads Sockby Valley 48-7 at the end of 3 quarters of play. Windham comes onto the field, their own 25-yard line, going left to right across your radio dial on the video stream. Well, you know where that is. Of course, you can find the video stream at mbr.org or subscribe to MBR Sport on YouTube. Marshall goes from the right to the left of Bernier. And there's going to be a motion penalty there as Jacobson got up and started moving while the ball was being snapped, and that's going to send Windham back 5 yards with 10:20 remaining in the fourth quarter.
Just their second penalty here in the second half, 9th overall of the game. So between two teams here, 20 penalties. Yikes. Sloppy football. Oh, it's declined. It is. So they declined it, Maddie. Penalty was not accepted.
It'll be second and long.
Interesting.
2nd and 10. Clock continues to run at the 10:10 mark. Bernier moves Marshall over to his side. Very muted crowd today. Bernier runs it off the left side. He's going to gain about 3, and it'll be 3rd and 7. Actually, about 2. Let's make it 3rd and 8.
Boy, some of the emphasis, some of the aggression, some of that power that we saw from the Eagles team in the start of this second half seems to have waned off a little bit. Does seem right now that in the proverbial arm wrestling match, seems like right now Portland the Bulldogs winning that war.
Bernier has Valier back there, and that pass is through the hands of Coffin, and Pasquale would have had a police escort into the end zone for a pick 6 there, but it falls to the turf, stops the clock with 9:24 remaining. 7-6 Windham, 4th and 9 now for the Eagles. They're going to go 3 and out after that Portland possession.
Interesting play call there. You got a 1-point lead and you go for a pass. That stops the clock. Why not try to rush? Allow that time to come off the clock. Instead, stop it dead. Leave a bunch of seconds on the clock for Portland. And a dangerous Pasquale back to return.
Kick is away. It will bounce at the out of bounds, and we'll see where they mark it. So they're going to run back to the 39, then they'll walk forward. I'm going to guess that goes out at midfield at the 49-yard line. No, they'll mark them right out at the 50. Portland takes over with good possession.
I honestly have no idea. Last time I counted 9 steps. I counted 8 steps one time before. That time it was 13 steps. So I have no idea what the rhyme or reason is. I'm trying to figure it out.
I'd like to know. I might have to ask maybe on Hailstorm Thursday.
There you go.
Check that out.
There you go. They would know.
Right. That's my hope.
I challenge you. My hope is for you to try to find something they don't know.
Right.
That's the real challenge.
Not the easiest. And that run will go nowhere, as that was Nope with the ball, and no thank you. Nope, indeed, loses 3, 2nd and 13.
Wrapped up that time by Lebrecq once again, shedding his blocker and making the tackle on the skill guy. It is Nope now in at quarterback. Moss no longer calling the shots under center.
Interesting.
That hamstring is probably going to keep him down. Taking a beating today.
He has. He certainly has. Nope, back to pass. Throws it, and it's batted down. Valier got his hands on that one.
Smart by Valier to get his hands up in the passing lane that time. Nope, a little bit shorter. Doesn't have the same high release point that Moss did, and able to get a hand on that one. Intended out to the left for Pasquale.
8:33 remaining in this one. 7-6, Windham with a lead over Portland. Portland breaks the huddle. Foley to the near side left. Pasquale is going to head out to the far side right. Actually, no, he's going to end up in the flat now. Handoff. We'll go to Stasium over midfield to the 49-yard line. Into Windham territory, and it will be 2nd and long, 2nd and 9. Actually, they'll mark him at the 48. It'll be 2nd and 8.
Not an extreme sense of urgency whatsoever by Portland right here. They feel pretty comfortable down just the point that they found something offensively that can kind of grind away. Not trying to get up to the line of scrimmage with any sort of hurriedness.
Ball is at the Windham 48-yard line. 3rd down and 8.
Officials are talking about something. Still not sure. Now we're going to take an officials timeout with 7:47 remaining in the 4th quarter.
What in the world is going on? The players don't know. The officials.
There, they're going to blow the whistle now.
Deep for Windham.
Actually, they're going to punt it here on 4th down. Excuse me. And it'll take a Windham bounce back to the 20. That is where Stasium will field it. So 2 teams trading 3 and outs. 7:36 remaining in the 4th quarter. 7-6, Windham and Portland. Windham with the lead. See what Bernier and the Eagles offense can do.
They're going to have to manage the clock. Stay in bounds here. Stick with the rush. Use the time and the single point lead to your advantage here, but that doesn't mean that you don't want to try to progress. Still try to get positive yards. If you can get down the field, put more points on the board, you're only going to benefit.
Marshall and Bernier in the backfield. Coffin to the near side right.
$7:49 should be the time on the clock.
That's what
Matty.
they've done now. Okay, that's good.
We good?
Yeah.
Wow.
Glad they're micromanaging that this evening.
Yeah, and everything else.
Marshall tries to run it and is going to get spun down for no gain. Nope is going to be involved in that. Silo Magno in there as well.
Gang tackling right now. It seems like the defensive unit, regardless of team, is having the advantage right now. I think the heat is starting to wear down on some of the offensive guys. And you're seeing conditioning play a factor here at that midway point in the season.
Bernier hands it off to Coffin on a sweep. He cuts it up the middle, 20, 25, out past the 30. Eagles finally have a first down up to the 31-yard line, 7:07 remaining in the fourth quarter.
Not far from breaking one loose and stepping free was Coffin that time. He had just one man to beat. Plenty of lanes there. Just doesn't have the breakaway speed. Not sure who has it on this field, if it exists.
First and 10, 6:52, and the clock ticking here in the fourth quarter. That is going to be Bernier again. He gets up to the 39 to the 40. And you get a flag down. You can't have more than two good plays in a row without a flag coming down.
Gotta call this one back, right? Encroachment, I believe.
Soon will be holding, so we haven't seen a holding today, so we'll figure out how to mark that one back. Get that down there. There we go. Back to the 24-yard line we go.
Mark that one down for Windham. Unbelievable. 50, 60, 75 yards. 150 yards and 22 combined penalties here. Atrocious.
First and 17 for Windham. They got to get to the 41 for a first down. 6:30 remaining in the fourth quarter. Valier up the middle, gets nothing.
Yeah, I guess I just realized there have been more penalties called than points scored, Maddie. Think about that.
The stoppages are for water. So that's what happens. They just stop the clock randomly for water, so you've got some heat breaks.
Is that so?
Now, I'm not sure why they're not just getting water during the official stoppages.
Huh. Interesting. Have not seen this before. All in the name of player safety, which I am 1,000% for.
Try to get you some scores from out there while we take this water break with 6:15 remaining in the fourth quarter. See if there's any floating around out there for you. Gray New Gloucester finally gets on the board against Freeport. 2 minutes left in the fourth there. Freeport 41, Gray New Gloucester 6. Dexter defeated Dirigo by a final of 34-13. Thornton Academy leads Chevrolet 32-0 at the end of 3. Inadvertent whistle cost Levitt a big play against Freiburg. Apparently, they've had some officiating adventures today as well. Handoff, Valier back to the 24-yard line. He takes a trip to Suplex City. Taken down there by number 48, Nathan Kapongo.
Kapongo made a couple of huge hits today.
3rd and 17. Windham just shy of the 25-yard line. They got to make it to the 41 for a first down. 5:30 remaining in the fourth quarter. They're hanging on to a 1-point lead. Bernier waiting to snap it. Marshall to his left. Bernier's going to run it up the middle, up past the 27 to the 28-yard line. Pongo's going to have to come out of the game because he lost his helmet. Andy's limping. 5 minutes remaining, the clock ticking. It's going to be 4th and long. Windham's going to have to punt it 4th and 14.
A lot of clock watching on that Windham side of the field. Guys not coming up to the line of scrimmage, turning around, looking at the clock. So, again, really far more interested in managing that clock time than trying to execute on the field. That's a dangerous position to be in.
Teron Moss still on the sideline, standing next to Coach Hartman. Wonder if it's going to be him or Nope coming out here for the next series. Kick is away by Coffin, and it's a beauty. Pasquale's going to have to run back to field at the 25. Now he's going to bobble it and get it back at the 16. Shuffles back to the left side, and he's going to get spun down by Bernier back at the 17-yard line. Pasquale's had some big plays on special teams today, but that time wasn't able to field it cleanly, and it cost the Bulldogs with 4:13 remaining in the fourth quarter, down 1.
Wondered how many times he was going to get away with fielding some of those punts that were on the roll after they had bounced a few times. That time, trying to catch one on the fly proved to be difficult, all kinds of difficult for Vinny Pasquale. And really aggressive coverage that time by the Eagles. Beautiful punt, beautiful coverage. Portland's got their work cut out for them here. They want to win this game.
Levitt has the ball at their own 39-yard line. They lead 17-14 with 4:49 left against Freiburg.
Looks like it will be Moss again as the signal caller here for the Bulldogs.
He's already scored 1 touchdown today for the Bulldogs. Going to get them another. They're going to need it, and they may need it on this drive because they may not get the ball back. Only 1 timeout for the Bulldogs. They trail 7-6 against Windham. Clock is running. Moss is going to run it himself out past the 20, out to the 25, out to the 30, and out to the 32-yard line. Teron Moss continues to make plays with his legs, stops the clock when they move the chains with 4:04 remaining.
Tell you, it was number 26 for Windham. That is George Butts, a sophomore. He came onto the field late. Looked like one of the coaches tried to bring him on late. He got in there late, still busted through the line, chased down Moss from behind the line of scrimmage, and made the tackle. Impressive effort that time by the sophomore.
3:55 remaining in the fourth quarter. 7-6, Windham with a lead over Portland. Shotgun snap. Pasquale in motion, going from the right to the left. Moss looks over to the right, passes it to Foley. It's complete to the 40. Keeps on his feet, past the 42 to the 45, out to the 47-yard line. Portland in business. 3:29 remaining in the fourth quarter. 1st and 10.
Interesting that Foley didn't try to get out of bounds that time. See if he could maybe manage the clock a little bit. Certainly stop while they reset the chains.
1st and 10 Portland.
Moss, shotgun, back to pass, looking for Foley again. Catches it at the Windham 48-yard line.
See, a coach got to him. Griffin, get out of bounds. That time, catch out of bounds. Much better way to preserve the clock.
Portland looking for their first win of the year. No flag on the play, apparently.
6 on the play, 2nd down and 4.
Moss in the shotgun. He's going to roll it out to the right, over midfield, shuffles back past the 45, spins back, keeps on his feet past the 40, down to the 39-yard line. Another Bulldogs first down with 2:50 remaining.
Tell you, he picked up a first down, but he's paying for he is absolutely getting punished as a runner. It's taken 2, 3, sometimes 4 guys. That time, the final hit coming in from a couple of different Eagles. But they're making Moss pay every time he carries that ball.
Moss, shotgun, pass, Foley, completed at the 35. He comes back. Now he's going to run to the 32, to the 30. He gets out of bounds inside the 30, down to the 29-yard line, 2:27 remaining. just shy of another Portland first down.
That little quick, short pass out to the flat to Foley is extremely effective, and it's one that Portland continues to go back with time and time again. Foley, right from the line of scrimmage, taking a direct line towards Moss, making a quick move once he gets the football and able to free up some space. Looks like we do have a timeout. Maybe another water timeout.
I believe it's another water timeout.
Okay.
2:27 remaining. There was a flag down, but it was picked up. Coach Perkins is trying to figure out why neither flag was, both flags are picked up. He's, I'm going to go ahead and say he's unenthused. Also have an injured player as Foley is down. That's a big loss for Portland, as Foley has been huge in their receiving game. Looks like he's having a difficult time putting weight on the left leg. 2:27 remaining in the fourth quarter. Officials are going to take a quick timeout now.
I think it's going to be an ankle for Foley. Ankle or a foot.
They're going to bring a measurement out. See if they're going to be 2nd and 1 or 1st and 10. First and 10. 1st and 10 for the for the Bulldogs. The Eagles' 29-yard line.
Yeah, a couple of times when the Eagles have had their heels towards the end zone, backing up into their own red zone, they've been able to toughen up on defense. Of course, on the last scoring drive for the Bulldogs, Moss able to punch one through. So I think right now Portland feels confident. Windham is going to have to prove their worth in Salt.
Moss in the shotgun back at the 34-yard line. He's going to run it. He's going to cut it up the middle to the 26, breaks free to the 25, to the 20, wiggles back to the 15, inside the 15, and down to the 13-yard line. Gain of 16.
So at what point
First
do
and
you
10.
bring a safety up and just completely mirror exactly what Moss is doing? I mean, why are they letting him get to the second level before they're attacking him? He's not going to throw the ball deep and over the middle. So take a guy like Bernier, who's in that free safety position, move him down and shadow Moss so that you've got man for man somebody that's marking that jersey. But letting him get 5-6 yards down the field before you get a finger on him. Tell you, Teron Moss about ready to take this Portland Bulldogs team over the Windham Eagles.
And now you get a flag down.
False start. Fourth penalty this half for the Bulldogs. Let's see. 1.
Legal procedure.
1, 2.
Final with Bates and Trinity. Trinity 51, Bates nothing.
4 procedure penalties so far for the Bulldogs.
1st and 15.
Portland is now at the Windham 13-yard line. One minute, 52 seconds remaining. No timeout was taken. They're going to let them. Oh yeah, they came off the penalty. That's right. Moss comes off the middle, and he's not going to gain any yardage. It'll be 2nd and 15 with 1:40 remaining.
It just does not seem like Portland is concerned at all about the time that's on the clock. They feel very, very comfortable with the offensive set that they can run here.
1:20 remaining, and they're also trying to give their team a chance here to. They didn't go. You know, here's the thing, though, Steve. They didn't go for the extra point earlier,
That's
so
right.
they trust the kicking game.
That's right.
Also, Levitt Freiburg, 4th and 3 at the Freiburg 7 with 1:03 left. Portland is going to take their final timeout with 1:06 remaining here. We'll take a timeout as well. We'll be right back on the game of the week.
Falmouth Orthopedic Center. Central Maine Orthopedics. OA Centers for Orthopedics. All play on the same team. Maine's top orthopedic practices have joined forces for more efficient and affordable orthopedic care. Introducing Spectrum Orthopedics.
Welcome back to the fourth quarter of the MBR Game of the Week from the Spectrum Healthcare Partners broadcast booth. 1 minute, 6 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter. Windham leading Portland 7-6. On the radio side of things, you're listening on Maine's Big Z 92.7 and Sports Time at 780 CMCC Hammond Lumber Game of the Week there. Of course, you can watch the game at mbr.org or subscribe to MBR's YouTube channel, MBR Sport, and you can watch the games from anywhere. Right now, you'd be watching the Portland Bulldogs. Second down, 15 yards to go at the Windham 18-yard line, down by 1. Issues with the kicking game all day. Officials have really chopped this game up as well. A lot of different penalties and things happening. Lots of different communication issues as well between the two benches. And here we go. Moss in the shotgun, back past the 20 to the 23-yard line. He's going to roll it out to the right, and that's going to be a designed run. Past the 15, inside the 10, and he is going to get knocked down at the 7-yard line. They will stop the clock as they knock him out of bounds with 59.6 seconds remaining, trailing by 1, and it will be third down.
It will be a holding penalty against Portland.
And another flag.
So penalty number 12, 50, 60, 70.
Carry the 4.
Wow. 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 There will be very few high school games where more penalties are called. I mean, this is a lot.
Leavitt wins 17-14 over Freiburg, and they improve to 4-0. They'll be at Yarmouth next week. Home for Cape Elizabeth the week after.
Enjoying Class C a little bit, Coach Hathaway.
I believe so. Now 50 seconds remaining, and the clock is ticking. 2nd and 25 from the 28-yard line. Moss is going to move Nope into position, and you've got a flag down. 42.7 seconds left, and it's going to be motion and legal procedure.
Oh, my.
That's going to move him back to the 33-yard line.
So I'm starting to think, as I'm watching this, right, I'm thinking, okay, well, why are they not urgent? Do they feel comfortable? Do they feel comfortable with Quinn Clark kicking the ball? Well, maybe from the 30, maybe from the 25, maybe from the 30. But guess what? They just keep making it longer and longer, and they're going to have to do something here if they think that they can preserve a field goal.
Now back at the 33-yard line. I'm going to love to get those final stats from you, by the way, on penalties. That's going to be tweet-worthy. Tweet-worthy indeed. Make sure you follow MBR Radio on Twitter. Moss back to pass. Throws it. Incomplete. Intended for Pasquale, and it was batted away. On 2nd and 30. It's now 3rd and 30 with 28.3 seconds remaining.
Would you say this is 4-down territory, Matty?
I would go ahead and say that, yes.
Do we have any timeouts left? Are there any more water breaks?
There are no timeouts left for Portland. There's 2 timeouts left for Windham. Ball at the 33-yard line of Windham. Wyndham's fan base that made it over here fired up. They send Nope in motion. Moss back to pass under pressure. He's going to run it up the middle to the 30, to the 25, to the 20, to the 15, and he's going to pull up just outside the 10 to the 12-yard line, and that is going to make it a much, much more possible play for a field goal here. And so Griffin Foley is going to come out and hold it.
Yep, that's right.
With his bad ankle. And Griffin Foley is hopping out onto the field right now to hold this snap. He left the game with a bad ankle. What a gutty performance by him. He's crawling on a knee to get over so that he can put the snap down. Now he has to put weight on the bad ankle on the left leg. Kick from the 17. Snap is down. Kick is up. And the kick is no good. Portland is celebrating. Windham says no good.
Yeah. Look.
No official has said a thing.
Oh, my
Are
Lord.
you kidding
Come
me?
on. Make a call.
You can't put. They're going to call it no good. No good. Windham celebrated. Portland celebrated. There was no official on the field.
Got one official.
Now you're going to talk to another official, and now are they going to overdo it? This is the wildest ending to a game I have ever seen. 16.5 seconds remaining. And they're going to say that the field goal is no good. Yikes.
Boy, Quinn Clark, who had the best view of it, says no chance, no chance. The thought is that the ball was kicked so high and over the goalpost that it didn't get quite seen. Guess what, folks? It was no good. So Windham is going to win this football game 7-6, and the Portland Bulldogs are going to start their season 0-4, 0-3 here at home.
And now you're going to have an official's timeout because nobody from Portland will get off the field. Jim Hartman wants an explanation. Doesn't look like he's going to get it. Still talking about it. And there's 15 yards for Jim Hartman as the official talks to him with 16.5 seconds remaining.
The problem with this whole thing is it spoils it for the kids. I mean, you can't say that enough, is that these kids are out here, they're trying to do this. You don't like that the officiating gets in the way of the game like this. You don't ever like to see that. You just like to let the kids get out there and play. Looked good to me, Matty.
It looked good to me. I mean, I'm going by what everybody's doing on the field now.
It's a really tough angle for us, obliquely in the up here in the press box to get a good feel for it. The fact of the matter is the guys in the black and white say no good, and there's no instant replay. You got to live and die with the call that's made.
Portland has no timeouts left.
Are they going to mark off the penalty, the 15-yard penalty?
Yeah, they got to mark off the penalty. Wow.
And they do.
Penalty against Portland, moves the ball out to the 35. First and 10. And a couple of more flags on the play.
Oh, we're going to go
back that way. A couple more flags.
Yeah. Go ahead. I'm going to tell you right now, you do this and you end up down on the 1 yard line. If you're Windham, punch one in. Take a shot. I mean, come on.
Keep on going. They're going to take a knee here and wrap it up.
Windham, first and 10.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Not how you like to see it end, regardless of which team.
Bernier takes a snap, takes the knee, and Portland cannot stop it. We will take a break, and then we'll come back and wrap this one up. Your final score from Fitzpatrick Stadium, Portland falls 7-6, controversially indeed. We will be right back.
Falmouth Orthopedic Center. Central Maine Orthopedics. OA Centers for Orthopedics. all play on the same team. Maine's top orthopedic practices have joined forces for more efficient and affordable orthopedic care. Introducing Spectrum Orthopedics.
Our goal here at Maine Athletic Fundraising is to raise your program or group the most amount of money possible in the shortest amount of time, hassle-free.
Over the last 3 years, we've been able to raise over $10,000 every year, which has really allowed us to get the extra stuff the kids really need to run a successful program.
One of our biggest goals at Maine Athletic Fundraising is to really develop a relationship on the ground with the coaches, the community, and the boosters that are involved, and help bring them together and understand how important it is to fundraise.
Welcome back. Final score, Windham 7, Portland 6. Portland lined up for a game-winning field goal attempt. Quinn Clark's attempt, after a delayed reaction by the officials, was ruled no good. There was quite a bit of controversy on that. You can watch the replay and see it for yourself after the game. Just subscribe to MBR Sport on YouTube. It auto-archives right after the game. Give it about 20 minutes, and then you can go right to that point. Big gunny performance for Windham today, and Steve, I'd say there were two guys that played really well, Bernier and Lebrecq for Windham.
Well, Bernier and Lebrecq, and you get all the credit to a guy like Tanier Bernier. He played great at the safety position. He's a skill guy, had the ball in his hands just about every snap. But the guys who don't get as much love, we certainly said his name a whole heck of a lot. He played guard on the offensive side, played tackle on the defensive side, and that's big lineman number 77, Justin Lebrecq. He is today's player of the game.
That will wrap it up for us from the Spectrum Healthcare Partners broadcast booth. On the radio side of things, it has been Maine's Big Z, Sports Time 780. It's been the CMCC Hammond Lumber Game of the Week. On the radio side of things, it's the MBR Game of the Week from the Spectrum Healthcare Partners broadcast booth. Make sure you subscribe to MBR Sport on YouTube, and you can watch the replay of this one right after the game. For Steve Flynn, for Glenn Shelley, and for Tyler Farnham, I'm Matty Boutwell. Final score, Windham 7, Portland 6. We'll announce the Game of the Week for next week coming up here in the next couple of days. Stay tuned to MBR.org for that. Now, on the Z, we bring you back to the music. On Sports Time 780, we bring you back to the sports. On MBR.org, we bring you back to your weekend.